hear me, can you just write yes if you can hear me loud and clear? Okay, thank you everyone. Lots of folks in the room. Wow, thank you. All right, so let's start. Hi everyone, happy Sunday, happy weekend. Just welcome all of you to the webinar for Black Market 2025. I know you are joining from different time zones. Some of you are joining us from the North America, which is very late time zone for you. Some of you could be joining us from Middle East or Europe, which is very early in the morning as well. And folks in Asia, sorry, you grabbing lunch right now. I am sure many of you are eating lunch, and enjoy your lunch because we did not have enough break for you in between Adam's webinar and mine. So, but I'm very excited, and I cannot wait to share with you my knowledge with you, and have many things to share today. All right, I trust you have enjoyed the day one webinars by Adam and also by Alson yesterday and earlier today as well. Adam talked about options. Before I get into my session, let me just put up a disclaimer here just to make sure I'm fully compliant with legal requirements here. So I'm not a licensed financial advisor. So what I'm going to share with you in the next 3, maybe 3.5 hours is just for educational purpose. And I will have another webinar on Wednesday where we do the live trade hunt as well. Again, based on my experience, based on what works for me, doesn't mean that it will guarantee to work for you. Just so do your homework and before you take any trade, right? So earlier today, Adam have talked about how powerful option can be if you know how to use option strategies properly. You know how to use it. Like don't buy, just focusing on sell, for example. So option can be very powerful for both investors and for traders as well. Especially this morning, Adam talked about selling put options to earn consistent profits. Concept of selling insurance, right, which has a high probability of winning. That's why most insurance companies are making profit because they have high probability of being profitable. From Adam first time today, and if you could understand 50% of what he said earlier today, I can tell you that you are a genius. And if you could understand 20% or even 10% of what he said today, you are completely normal. I can tell you 10 options and master it, right? But that was like when I started taking proper option, really good option training school or courses available. So most of the time, all the time, people just have a classroom training and that's it, one-off training, no follow-up, no guiding, no coaching, no mentorship, nothing. But don't worry, we are here and we design our option program in a way that we will hold your hands and walk you through step by step so that you can understand and practice options trading as fast as you can, right? So that's what we are here for. We are not just offering one. We have the whole ecosystem, whole support system to help you through the whole journey, right? So Adam had covered basic concepts of options earlier today, especially he talked a lot about the put option side, right? How it works, etc., time decay, delta, stuff like that. So then it makes my job easier because now I'm focusing on the call side of option. And puts and calls are two sides of the option trading, right? And my strategy, the C2D, I'm going to talk about on the call side only. Today's webinar, I will show you how options can help magnify your return on investment, or we call it ROI, right, in the current market environment, right? So I will share with you my trading result as well. Because then it just illustrates how powerful option can help magnify return on investment, right? So just for you to have an idea on it. And particularly, I will share with you one option strategy called C2D, right, calendar spread to diagonal spread, that could protect you from a market sell-off or generate incomes while you're waiting for the market to stabilize and rally, right? And eventually, when the market starts to rally, you can flip it into a bullet or strategy that I'm going to cover in detail, right? I will show you step by step how to construct the trade, optimal entry and exit rule, and key benefits and key watch outs for the strategies. Towards the end of the webinar, I will also share with you my top 3 trading ideas using the C2D strategy, right? Today is Sunday, so market is closed. So I cannot execute the trading ideas today, but we intentionally schedule a live trade hunt for option on Wednesday. Okay, I am told that my connection is not stable. I don't know what happened here, but I hope you guys can hear me still. Okay, the sound quality not so good. I don't know what happened here. Let me check. Okay, it's a little choppy, but it is fine. Okay, I hope. Let me check my internet connection. Maybe something wrong there. All right, so let me check. It's still connected to the 3G, so by right it should be okay. Maybe okay. So you let me know if you can hear me now. Loud and clear in your end. Okay, so maybe it's just choppy a little bit, but I hope you can still hear me now. All right. So at the end, but let me know in the video if you cannot hear me well, right? So 3 trading ideas, but I will execute the ideas during the live trade hunt on Wednesday, right? When the market opens, when we have the live market data, and you can see that I will execute my trade live using my real account, right? So that will be for on Wednesday. It will be for Wednesday. Now at the end, I will answer live questions on the Q&A. So just send your questions in the Q&A tab. The coaches are there to help also, and I will be seeing some of the questions that the coaches forwarded to me via the Google Docs. So I will check this up later towards the end of the session. Okay, so that's the entire of the agenda for today. Now, for those of you who do not know who I am, brief introduction, right? I'm the humble retail traders, like many of you who are retail traders. So we just like many of you could have a full-time job at the same time, like I used to have, right? But I retired from my full-time job as a group finance director in one of the Fortune 500 companies where I worked for 28 years. So I retired about almost 3 years ago, and focusing on helping this PNR Profit community. And particularly now I'm the option trading strategist at PNR Profits. So in terms of trading experience, I have 25 years of trading experience, including 20 years of option trading. And the last 9 years, I've been partnering with PNR Profit to help coach and train and mentor people on option trading. And many of you have seen me across the channels, right? So that's a brief introduction of myself. Now, why do I prefer options over stock, right? Why is that options? Why not stock? Right, to be clear, before I got to know option many years ago, I used to trade stocks as well. But since I know options, I never look back. I never use stocks again. Just options the way, that help me boost my income, and you see the numbers later on. And frankly, if you ask Adam, he also recently stopped trading stock. I think past few years he's been focusing on option trading only, right? And one of the reasons why we prefer trading options is trading option requires much lower capital, right, compared to stocks, right? So trading stock, to have a decent position size, you probably need to have like 50K account, $100,000 account to make one few trades, right? And then otherwise it's not going to be worth it, right? You need to have a decent account to trade stock. But option, because the leverage nature, it can use much less capital. And I will show you the example of how much capital it uses in an option trade later on when it comes to the strategy. But I can tell you it uses much less capital compared to stock. And then when you use less capital and you generate almost the same return on the profit, that will translate into a much higher return on investment, right? Because that's the denominator is smaller, then it will translate into a big ROI number for you. Now, the other benefit of option that I like is the power of the option, which I will talk in detail. I think Adam have covered as well, that option can generate income in any market conditions, right? Up, down, sideways, no matter what. Right now, people may be fearful that the market is in the middle of the bubble, the AI bubbles, a lot of stuff like went to the roof, and they may be scared that we could be in the middle of the bubble, right? Okay, then in that case, option can help protect downside risk as well. And I will show you why I use C2D in this market environment when the risk is predefined and the max loss is limited, right? So that's the benefit of the C2D as well. Finally, I also like option because it is flexible for all traders profile. Either you are busy professionals or active traders or traders with small accounts, right? So when I was still working, I'm very busy in the daytime, and then in the nighttime, I also could trade options at the same time. So it is very flexible. It could be done anywhere, even when you are traveling, you're on vacation, with a laptop or internet connection, you can trade options, right? Now, before I get into the strategies, let me quickly show you a quick peek on my main accounts. I have multiple accounts, some small, some big. So I just show you a big one, free one, because that matters, right? So first of all, I show you my first account on I think IBKR here. Let me move this one, right? So IBKR, the first main account here, when I generated $231,000 profit year to date, 2025, 18.2%. So that's about $1.5 million account, the main account that I have in IBKR. The secondary account that I have in IBKR is well smaller, but still $1 million account. And this one I got about $142,000 profit, 60% year to date return on investment, right? And finally, I have a bigger account in Thinkorswim, which is just what right now, where I generated $479,000 profit year to date, or 38.8% return on investment. So this is like $1.6 million account here, right? So if I sum up on three main accounts that I have here, year to date, I got about $852,000 profit, which translates into about 26% return on investment. Clearly, it is outperforming the market. Now, to be on transparent here, right? I sent these slides to the meet team about a few days ago before the market pulls back, right? So market pulled back a little over the past week or so. So by now, if I have to sum up my account numbers again, I guess this 850 here become like $700,000. So I made $700,000 year to date, right? With the latest information, but that still outperformed the market index, right? So that's the point. The market also pulled back for 5% over the past week or so. So I'm happy with $700,000 for profit for this year, and we still have a month to go, right? Let's see how it will end this year. But clearly, even $700,000 profit, that is still much bigger than my employment income right before I retired, right? So multiple times bigger. So I'm pretty happy with the trading profits I have here, right? And trading, there's no guarantee that you have good profits every year, right? There will be good year, there will be bad years as well. So this year is okay so far. Last year was better. So this is what I show you. I mean, many of you during the Outlook event in Marina Bay Sands and also in Kuala Lumpur earlier in this year, when I showed that 2024, I made roughly about $1.2 million profit, right? 54.6% return on investment, and almost 2x performance of S&P 500 last year. So last year was a very good year, and so that's $1.2 million profit. And the year before that, I also made decent profit, $868,000 profit, 84% return on investment, and this one was much better than the market, almost four times of the market index return during that year, 2023. Now I show you on 3 years where I made good profit, right? 2022, bear market, I had a product, so obviously there will be good year, there will be bad years as well. So that's part of the trading journal. But towards, I mean, the end of the day, in the long term, market goes up more often than it goes down, right? And I make a lot more profit than the drawdown I experience occasionally. So in the long run, I would say 25 to 35% a year would be achievable for me in option trading, yeah, on average. Now, Adam covered this one earlier today. I just want to reiterate a few points here, that trading options are very powerful and very flexible, right? For investors, like for those who prefer to hold shares for long term, right? Then there are ways for you to trade options as well. So for example, if you are sitting on a big portfolio of stocks and you are worried that the market could go through some volatility or some of the pullback in a short term period of time, then you could look at a way to hedge your portfolio. So this is one way for you to trade using option, right? The other way for you to generate income as well. So if you are sitting on a lot of stocks and many of which have really like rallied a lot, and you think that there could be a pullback soon, then you could sell a call option above the current stock price, leaving some headroom for further capital appreciation. At the same time, you collect premium, right? Or you can use that cover call as a way to exit your position as well at a very profitable price as well. So that's another way for investor to trade options. Number three, which Adam talked about earlier today, is to sell a cash secure put, where you could potentially get to buy shares at a steep discount, right? So Nvidia trading at like 180, you could sell a put option at 160, right? And you could potentially get assigned the shares for $160 per share, which is a significant discount versus the current market price. So that could be another way for you to, potentially get into the position at a lower price. And by the way, you get paid to wait anyway, right? While you're waiting for the share price to come down to your price, you are paid because you collect the premium. The concept of collecting premium when you sell instruments. So remember that. I now covered that one, so I don't want to repeat what he has said, right? For traders, there are so many ways for traders to make money using option, right? So you could trade in different market environments, up, down, sideways. And actually, I prefer a sideways market where, market can go sideways for a long period of time, but I keep collecting premium along the way. So I'm paid to wait. You can also, as I said, use very little capital And that also reduce the risk, right? In case the whole thing collapses, right? You won't lose more than what you already predefined before you enter the trade. You use less capital, you generate good profit, that will translate into a much higher return on investment. So again, option can magnify your return on investment. That's why I show you some of the trading results I have over the past few years. So I consistently outperform the market because I use the power of option to magnify my return on investment. And finally, last but not least here, using option can increase your trading win rates. Right? So unlike stock, you can analyze so many different charts, and at the end of the day, you enter the position. You cannot control whether the supply will move up or down next. Right? The next uptick or downtick, you don't know which direction it will move to. Right? So that is a 50-50 chance. Basically, you enter the trade, and there's a 50 chance that the supply will open up tomorrow or down tomorrow. Right? 50-50 chance. Unlike trading stock, trading option, you can predefine the win rate for your trade. Right? And I'll show you some ways to have a high win rate. Selling caps if you put below the current stock price is one way, right? You could have a 70% chance of winning, right? Because the stock price has to drop a lot for you to lose money, right? So that's one way for you to have a higher win rate. And there are many other ways for you to increase your win rate when you trade options. Right? So we get into the detail of one strategies that I'm going to talk today. All right, everyone. Introducing C2D strategy. Right? What is C? What is D? And I explain to you in detail in the next hopefully 1 hour. Yeah. So ready? Fasten your seatbelt, and hopefully by now you have done your lunch, and maybe you can grab your coffee. All right, let's go. C2D is a two-step process. Two steps, everyone. Two-step process. Right? Very simple. Step 1, step 2. Let me go one by one. Step 1, you enter the trade as a C trade, and C trade means calendar spread. Right? So the intent here is, okay, market is now very volatile, maybe is pulling back right here. We're not sure if the market has bottom or not, or ready to rally again towards the year-end Christmas rally or not. You don't know, right? So one of the safe way is to enter the market with a calendar spread. Then the benefit of doing this is you collect rents. Right? I explain to you the concept of collecting rents later. You're collecting rents while you're waiting for the market to stabilize and goes up, right? Now, while you're waiting for the market to go up, then you can collecting premium, right? And then at the same time, if you're wrong, meaning the market continues to go down, at least your downside risk is protected. So your downside risk is limited. It's not like you buy a big chunk of Nvidia now and then suddenly it goes down 10 points next week, right? It's not like that. You know how much is the max risk when you enter a calendar spread, and you cannot lose more than that. So that is the benefit of entering the market with a calendar spread. You're collecting rent while waiting for the market to stabilize, and then if you're wrong, the market is not ready to rally, then even if it goes down, it protects the downside risk. I will show you some of the example when I enter a trade and the stock price keeps going down, and yet my trade is doing fine. Right? I show you some examples later on. That is a step 1 of the C2D. Right? Step 1, start with a C, right? Calendar spread. And then when the market has stabilized and due for a rebound or starts to rally, you immediately upgrade your trade, the C trade, you upgrade it into a D trade, which is diagonal spread, so that you can ride on the uptrend. So this is the strategy that we designed for a choppy market with a bullish recovery prospect, right? So that is very simple, right? Two steps, everyone. Step 1, enter with a calendar spread, C trade, and then upgrade the C trade to a D trade when the market is ready to rebound, right? Very simple. Now let me explain in detail, step by step. Step 1, start with a C trade, calendar spread. Calendar spread has 2 legs. Remember 2 legs, right? Like human have 2 legs, right? So you cannot do with 1 leg. So earlier today Adam talked about sell secure put. That is 1 leg, right? 1 leg option trade. But the calendar spread needs to have 2 legs, right? And I will explain why it needs to have 2 legs, right? Leg number 1, you buy a long dated call option, right? So earlier today Adam said don't buy a call option. Remember that? He said because that is a losing game. People lose money most of the time. Buy a call option. So why do I suggest to buy a call option now, right? So am I contradicting with what Adam said, right? No. Okay, just be patient. I will explain. This is just 1 leg of the option trade, right? Not just buy a call option. I'm not just buy a call option. Okay, so let me explain the concept of long dated. Long dated means long expiry. So when I could say a long expiry, anywhere between like 3 to 9 months or beyond that, that could be a long dated, right? Short dated is like a few weeks, 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks kind of thing. So it's short dated. It's my term, loosely defined. So long dated is like few months out. So the reason why I suggest to buy a long dated call option because the time decay for the long dated call option will be slower. Yeah. So option decays value over time. That is true, but it doesn't decay in a linear pattern. So it's not like losing value the same every day. At the beginning, the option decay very slowly, but then closer to the expiration date, you see that the decay will accelerate. Right? So you look at the chart of the option decay, it will look like this. So the first few days or few weeks, you see a decay very slow. But then when it near the expiration, the decay will start accelerate, and then you lose most of the money towards the last few weeks or maybe the last few days of the option lifetime. Yeah. So that's why when you buy a call option, you need to buy a long dated call option. Now, I do not just say buy a long dated call option, right? I buy a long dated call option with the intent to sell a short dated call option and at the same strike price. Right? So now I'm no longer contradicting with what Adam said. Right? Adam says don't buy a call option because it's a losing game. So I'm saying here you buy a long dated call option with the intent to sell a short dated call option. For what purpose? Right, let me explain short dated option. As I said, short dated option is like a few weeks out because the option the option decays value in the accelerated model. Right. So when you sell a short dated option, that option you sell there will decay fast, much faster than the long option. Right. So therefore, what will happen here? This one will decay, but very slow. This one will decay, but it decay very fast. But because you sell, right, you want the option you sell decay very fast so that you get that value faster. So net of the two, you would have a positive time decay benefit. You have a positive time decay benefit for your trade if you do both at the same time. So the C trade here, the calendar spread, would have a positive time decay benefit to you. Right? You will no longer have a negative time decay because you have the short dated option here paying for the long dated option in terms of value decay. And this one has the same strike price. So the concept that I like to use in this strategy is like you lease to rent. You know, many people want to invest in a property for rentals, right? They buy a property and then they rent it out, collecting 3% to 3% yield a year, and at the same time they expect the property price to go up at the same time, right? But buying a property will cost you a lot of money, right? You need to use a huge amount of capital to buy a property, easily a few $1 million here in Singapore. So when you buy a property and you rent it out, the concept is like you buy stocks, right? And then you sell cover call. Remember that concept? So you hold shares, but you sell cover call to collect rents every month. But holding shares or buying stock would require a huge capital, which many of you don't have, right? Buying 100 shares of Meta today easily costs you $60,000. 100 shares. 100 shares of Microsoft easily costs you like close to $50,000. And you need to have at least 100 shares to sell one call option, right? So again, buying shares to sell cover call will be very capital intensive, right? Then this strategy will replace that capital intensiveness, right? You don't need to buy shares to sell cover call. In this case, you buy a long dated call option. This is the long dated call option that you buy. So the concept of doing this is like, okay, instead of buying a property to rent it out, right? You now lease it. You lease your property, let's say for 1 year from a landlord, and then you use it to do Airbnb or rent it out to collect short-term rents, right? So then that is the concept. So in that case, you don't need millions of dollars to buy property, right? So then that will become much cheaper capital uses, and therefore it can boost your return on investment. So that is the concept. You lease to rent. You don't buy to rent, right? So that is the concept here. You lease the call, and then you rent it out. You sell another call. And by doing this, you will benefit from time decay while you're waiting for the stock price to rebound, right? So that is a benefit of C-Trade. And I cover many more benefits that the C-Trade has for you later on, yeah? Now, what could be the right setup for C-Trade, right? What are my favorite one, right? So I prefer the following setup before I enter a C-Trade, right? So either the stock price is dipping on an uptrend. So it's on a solid uptrend, but it's now retracing and dipping on the uptrend. Uptrend is still very clear, but it's just a dip on the uptrend. So that is my preferred entry point for a C-Trade. Another setup that I like to use for C-Trade is when the stock price is consolidating near a support, right? From the chart, you can clearly see that the stock has bottomed and now is stabilizing or consolidating and is ready to rally. And that is another setup that I like to use for C-Trade. Another setup that I like to use for C-Trade is it looks like neutral to mildly bullish kind of setup for me. Now, so these are the three, but let me show you real examples and I will check your understanding here. I will ask you whether it would be a good setup for C-Trade or not. All right, ready everyone? I will show you 4 charts and will tell me which one or each of them I ask you, is that a good yes or no? Right, good setup for C-Chart or not? Okay, let me start with the first one. This is a chart for Amazon, right? Amazon, you can see Amazon in the corner here. This is Amazon chart. From the chart, it looks like it is clearly on the uptrend, right? Why do I know it's on uptrend? Well, you look at the moving averages, right? They are all sloping up. 200 moving average, 150, 150 moving average. They're all sloping up. Clearly, long-term trend, mid-term trend, and short-term trend, they're all sloping up. And the chart looks very clearly on the uptrend, higher highs, right? Higher highs, and then higher lows, right? Higher lows, right? So clearly, higher highs, high low pattern, and moving averages sloping up, right? So this is clearly on the uptrend. So the stock price is now dipping on a solid uptrend. Dipping means recently you see here, it is retracing, right? Retracing and now testing the 50 moving average, which has served as a support. Last time we tested and it bounced off it. Many months ago, it's also dipped below that and then it bounced off it. It looks like a good support here. So the stock price is now dipping on a solid uptrend and it is also near a support, right? From the long-term chart, it looks very bullish. Short-term, maybe it looks like a bit neutral because the retracement is still going on. Now, let me ask you a question. In your opinion, is it a good setup for a C-Trade? Yes or no? All right. So yes, I saw yes. Okay. So obviously all of you say, one people say no, but yeah. So I could say 99% say yes because I see only one no very quickly flash to my screen. And I agree with most of you. I think this is a good setup for a C-Trade. Now the retracement is still going on. We may continue to see a little bit dip before it go higher from here, but that is an okay setup for C-Trade because C-Trade has a pretty good protection on the downside. And I will show you the detail of the trade later on. It has a decent protection on the downside. Right? So even if I'm wrong, I enter a C-Trade here and the stock price continues to decline further from here, the trade would still have some margin for error. Right? So I would say this is a good setup for a C-Trade. Ready for the second chart, everyone? Second chart, this is CRM, Salesforce. Salesforce, if you look at the chart, right, over the past 1 year or so, so since it peaked in the last November or something, like about 1 year ago, it peaked at 369. It has declined a lot and now trading at 227 here, 227. And it looks like it is testing this support level, the 230 level here, where if you zoom the chart back to many years ago, it used to fall to that level and bounce off it, and now it's testing it again. Looks like 230 is a strong support level, right? So from the chart, it looks like the stock price is consolidating or bottoming, right? Looks like it's bottoming, and it is near a support level. From the trend standpoint, it looks like long-term, pretty much neutral, because it's been in that level for a long time. Short-term, it looks neutral as well. Now, this one could be a little bit more controversy. In your opinion, would it be a good setup, yes or no, for a C-Trade? I see more no, but majority of you still say yes, okay? I see more, maybe 20% of you say no, and 80% of you say yes. I would still say this is okay. This is an okay setup for a C-Trade, right? The fact that the stock price has held on to that 230 level for many times. The longer it could the longer it holds above that support level, the more powerful it will rebound in the future. That's what happened, right? So now it had been accumulating at that level for such a long time, and looks like every time it dips below that 230, people will, I mean, a big boy, a market maker will come in and scoop up the price, right? I would still be, I would still incline to say yes to this setup. I'm okay to enter the trade using calendar spread, because one of the feature or one of the benefit of calendar spread is even if I'm wrong, the supply continues to go down, the trade has a decent margin for error, right? Now, the worst case scenario, the supply totally collapsed. Right? Totally collapses, then yes, I will lose money. But again, the max loss is predefined and limited, right? So calendar spread, because of this nature, I love to use in this setup as well. Now, let me ready for the third setup, everyone. Third chart I'm showing you right now. This is Adobe. This is Adobe. Adobe, from the chart standpoint, it has been on a steady decline for many years now. And it forms low highs and lower lows. And you can see that low high, low lows very clear, right? And recently, it broke below the support level, the 332. It broke down below that level, and it looks like it is going lower from here. So from the chart standpoint, it looks really looks bearish, because the moving averages, all of them are sloping down, right? You see very clearly all the moving averages are sloping down. Short term, it also looks bearish. Now, let me ask you, is that yes or no for a calendar spread at this setup? Now we have the consistent reply from all of you. Clearly, it's a no. It's a no for the trading purpose. This chart looks horrible. Horrible. I mean, there's a good chance that we'll see Adobe price will continue to go lower from here, right? From the chart, from the technical chart standpoint. Of course, fundamentally, it could be undervalued, right? But from the technical standpoint, and we are talking trading here, it doesn't look like a good setup. Doesn't look like a bullish or even neutral setup for a calendar spread. So it's a no. And let me share with you the last chart, and you tell me yes or no. Okay, ready? This is Eli Lilly. It's a pharmaceutical companies, right, for the weight loss and GLP, that's one kind of drugs. And recently, you see the chart, the supply moves up a lot, like in a parabolic manner, right? The supply shot up like that in a parabolic manner, and it's from the stochastic indicator I prefer to use here, stochastic tool. It indicates that the stock price is really overbought, extremely overbought. So in my trading experience, this stock price could be due for a pullback soon. Yeah, due for a pullback soon. Now let me ask you, is it a good setup for a C trade? Yes or no? I can see that there are a few yes, but majority of you say no, and some of you say even that, right? Yes, I agree with most of you. Don't chase it, don't FOMO, and it is not a good setup for a C trade. Why? Because if there's a sharp pullback right here, it will hurt the C trade. Again, C trade has some margin for error on the downside, but there's only a limit extent or magnitude it can help on the downside. If it drops a lot, the C trade could be hurt as well. Yeah, so I don't like this setup at all. Don't chase it, right? Don't chase this setup. So I guess by showing you different charts, different setups, you have an idea on what would be the good entry point for a calendar spread or C trade. Now, for those who don't know how to construct a calendar spread, and even like completely new in option world, let me just explain the basics, right? So earlier today, Adam explained the basics of call option, of the put options. Let me cover the call options. The call option is the contract that allows you to have the right to buy 100 shares at the strike price by the expiry date, right? So for example, if you go to the brokers today, you check out that Amazon stock is trading at about 220, and it has retraced significantly over the past few weeks, right? After a good, spiking after earnings, the stock price has pulled back a lot. You think it's a very good stock, and it is now trading below the intrinsic value. You love it. You want to buy 100 shares of Amazon right now at the current stock price, which is about 220. Now, buying 100 shares of Amazon stock would require what, $22,000, right? So 220 times 100 shares, that's $22,000. Now you say, I don't have $22,000 cash right now because I'm still waiting for my year-end bonus, right? So my year-end bonus should come in the next 2-3 months, right? So then I would have cash, and then I will buy Amazon stock. But at that point in time, chances are the stock price will fly already, right? So then you will miss the window. You cannot buy Amazon stock at 220 anymore 2-3 months from now, possibly, right? So then how can you lock in? How can you lock in the 220 price and wait for the time when you have cash to buy? So one way for you to do it is to buy a call option at the strike price at 220, which just happen to be the same stock price right now. So then that means you will be guaranteed to buy shares at 220, right? And you buy a call option. Let's say you buy a call option expiring on 20th of Feb 2026, which is 3 months from today, right? 3 months from today, 90 days, right? On today. So this call option will lock in the price for you at 220 in the next 90 days. You can always go and buy shares at $220, regardless how high the stock price can go after today, right? So tomorrow you open your broker account, you buy call 220 expiring on Feb 20th of 2026. How much you have to pay to buy this call option? Well, this premium called the premium per shares, right? So 18.80, and one contract of option is equivalent to 100 shares. So if you buy one contract of call option, you would pay $1,818. Call it 1,800, okay? So you need to pay upfront 1,800 to buy this call option. So this is a typical call option that you can use, right? So it has the name of the stuff you want to buy. It has expiration, where the lock-up period for you. It has a strike price, the price at which you are guaranteed to buy, and the call option, that's what you're buying, and then you need to pay a premium. Yeah, you need to pay a premium to have the right to lock in the price for you. So that is the concept of call option, right? It gives you the right to buy 100 shares at the strike price, 220, by the expiration date. So anytime between now and the next 90 days. So that's the call option. For those who don't know what options are about, option is like that, right? It just allows you to lock in the price and give you a period of time, but you have to pay a premium to have that kind of right. So buying a call option is like you you deposit a check to purchase a property, right? So for those of you who have bought a property or a home for yourself, you know the process, right? You like the location, you like the property, you know about the developer, you love it. And then to lock in the price before other people can come in and grab that, you deposit your check, and that guarantee that you could buy a unit you want, right? For a period of time, right? For a period of time. So that is the concept of making a deposit to purchase a property, and that will lock in the price for you. So no matter how high the property price will go after that, you will be guaranteed to purchase the property at the agreed upon price. So what is the good things and the bad things about buying call option? So there's pros, which is good thing, and there's a cons, what is bad thing about buying call option, right? Buying a call option, it gives you potentially unlimited upside potential when the supply goes up, right? So if you buy a call option for Amazon at 220 and suddenly there's a very good news and the supply goes to 300, that means you will have a huge profit, right? Because you can buy the share at 220 and then you can sell at the market at 300. So you make a huge difference profit there, despite the fact that you haven't even put up your capital, because you only use 1,800 premium. You don't use like $22,000, right? Because you just pay the premium for it, not the full value of the stock yet. So you look at the chart of the call option diagram here, you see if the stock price goes up, you have unlimited upside potential, right? But the stock price needs to go up enough to pay off this premium you pay, right? Now, worst case scenario, if you buy a call option and the stock price collapses, right? How much would you lose? Well, the maximum loss you have is the premium you paid. You cannot lose more than that, right? So then in that case, you will lose $1,818. That's it. You cannot lose more than this. Imagine if you buy 100 shares of Amazon at 220 and the supply drops to 120. How much would you lose for 100 shares? Well, you lose $100 per share, right? Times 100, you will lose $10,000. But in this case, even the supply drops to zero, the maximum loss is the premium you pay, which is 1,818. So in this case, it caps your downside risk here. You cannot lose more than what you paid for the premium. So that is the benefit or the good things about buying call options. What is the bad thing? What's the bad things about buying call option? Well, time decay works against the trade, because remember, option value decays every day. Yeah. So every day you will see that your call option will lose some value. So let's say if the supply doesn't move anywhere in the next 90 days, then how much would you lose? Well, you will lose this money. The entire 1,818 premium you pay right now is purely time value or hope value, right? And over the next 90 days, if the supply doesn't go up, this one is a loss that you incur, right? So if the supply stays right here, you will lose the 1,818. Yeah, so you lose 1,818 right here when the supply is here. Yeah, so that is a disadvantage. So approximately, right, if you do a rough estimation, 1,818 over 90 days. So every day you will lose about $20. No matter weekday or weekend, doesn't matter. Every day you wake up, you see your call option lose about $20. Of course, I am simplifying it. In reality, option will decay in accelerated model, right? So at the beginning, you may not lose $20 a day. Maybe you lose like $10 a day. But towards the end, the last few weeks, the last few days, you will see the acceleration of the value decay, and you will lose like $30, $40, $50, $60 a day, right? So on average, you lose about $20 a day. Then that means you need the supply to go up fast enough to cover the time decay. So I like to use the analogy of swimming, but in this case, you swim against the current, the water current, right? So imagine if you are swimming in a river where the current flows, right? If you stop swimming, obviously the flow of the water will pull you back, But if you swim very hard, you can overcome the current. So then you can imagine that it's very hard to swim to your destination if you swim against the current. So then I call this one low probability of winning, and I can show you the chart later on. You have a lower probability of winning in this trade. Despite the good things that I talked about, right? The reality is, if you just buy a call option alone, you have a low probability of winning. That's why earlier today, Adam said, don't buy a call option. Don't buy options. That is a losing game. And in fact, I agree with that. Buying a single call option is a losing game. Now, sadly, many people are doing it because maybe they don't have a full understanding of how option works. They're always like very hopeful that the stuff that they buy will go up a lot tomorrow, next week, and they will overcome the time decay. But sadly, most of the time they will lose money. And I cannot blame them, because I used to be them the first 7 years of my option journey. So that, remember, I have 20 years of trading options, but the first 7 years, I did many of stupid things like this, buy call options. And I can tell you very obviously, I lost money most of the time. All right, everyone, I hope by now you're clear on buy call option, right? And then the advice here is not just buying a single call option, because that is a losing game. But as I said earlier, the intent is not just buying a call option. The C trade involves two legs. Leg one, buy call option, and that is lease, right? You lease to rent. Now we talk about lease here, and now let's move on to the rent, which is look at another call option, right? So in this case, I also look at Amazon, but in this time, I will look into a shorter expiry date, which is 2 weeks from now, December 5th, which is about 13 days from now, right? 2 weeks from now. I also look at the same strike price, 220, and you look into the option chain right now, you will see this option value is at $6.45. And let me show you that, okay? Some of you may not know where to look for that data. Okay, let me go to my option platform here, and then let me open the option chains, right? So you go to the trade, you type in the Amazon, and under that you see the option chains. And then earlier I told you that if you buy a call option here at 220 strike price 220. Now earlier today, Adam talked a lot about put option. He talked about this one, right? Now I focus on the call option, which is this one, yeah, on the left hand side. So if you buy a 3 months, 90 days here, expiry, right? 220 call option, you need to pay a market price, which is a market price, which is 1818, right? 1817.5. So call it 1818. $1,818 if you buy one contract of option, right? So that if you buy a long dated option, 3 months here. Now look at another call option, which is a shorter DT, the December 5th, which is 2 weeks from today, and you look at 220 strike also, because it has a shorter time frame for this option, the premium is also smaller, right? So in this case, the premium is only $6.45. This one is $18.18, right? So the longer you go, the more premium you have to pay or you can have, right? So then we are looking at the second option here, which is a 220, where if you sell, you collect $645. If you buy, you pay $645, right? So for the first one, I look to buy it, so I need to pay $1,818, right? For the second option, 220 here, shorter DT, I look to sell it, so I will collect $645 back. So that is how you pick up the data there. We get back to the lesson here. So if you look at that option, the short dated option here, at 220, the premium is $645 for one contract. Right, so the concept is the same, same stock, same strike price, just shorter expiry date. So that brings me to the second leg of the C trade. Right, second leg is to sell a call option. This is the rent part, right? The lease part we talked about earlier. Now lease to rent. Now we are renting here. Renting, you sell a call option, shorter expiry date, and because you are the seller, the concept here is like you're collecting rent, right? And when you're collecting rent, you want the rent to come fast, right? So when you rent the house, you want to keep collecting rents, so you want the time to pass very fast so that you can collect the new rents. So time works in your favor, right? If you are the landlord, if you rent that one out, or if you are the insurance seller, you also want to collect the new premium, so you want the time to pass soon. Time works in your favor, right? So if you are the seller of this call option, and let's ignore the first leg, right? Assuming you only look at the second leg, you just want to sell and you don't want to buy the first one. What happened? Well, if you look at it that way, then your call option will make money in 3 out of the 4 scenarios, right? Because you sell the option, right? You don't want the stock price to go up so much. If the stock price goes down, you collect this money. The premium you collect will be your profit. If the stock price goes sideways, you also collect that money. The stock price stays the same, you also collect and earn that money. If the stock price goes up slightly, you also make some money, smaller. But if the stock price goes up a lot, like beyond $6.45, your break-even point, then you start losing money. And if the stock price if the stock price goes up a lot, rally to the roof, then you have unlimited risk on the upside. Right? So without a protection will be a very dangerous game. Right? It's a suicidal in my opinion. So that's the bad things about selling call option alone. You have limited profit, right? Which in this case, the premium you collect, right? 645, and then you have potentially unlimited risk when the price rallies a lot. Again, selling naked call option is a dangerous game, and I can tell you this one is even more dangerous than selling a put option without a cash secure. Right? So you can choose to sell call or sell put, but naked means you don't have a protection. You will be exposing yourself to unlimited risks. Yeah. So let's think about it this way. Okay. You don't own any property, but you promise to sell that property or one property to somebody. You don't own it, but you promise to sell, and then suddenly the property price goes to the roof, and you have unlimited risk right there. Right? It's a dangerous game. So doing the leg 1, buying call option alone, is a losing game. Doing leg number 2 alone, selling a call option, is a dangerous game. Right? So don't do 1 or 2 only. What you need to do is to do both at the same time. Right? When you do both 1 and 2 together at the same time, then you will be fine. You will be fine, and the trade should look very different. And that is the intent of calendar spread. Calendar spread help you overcome on the bad things that I talked about earlier. Okay, so what is a calendar spread? Basically, you do both leg 1 and 2 together. You buy a long dated call option, and at the same time, you sell a short dated call option, same strike price. Right? So you do leg 1, leg 2 at the same time. So basically, at the user, the example of Amazon here, you buy the 220 call option, which have 90 days to expiration. You pay $18.18 premium, remember that? And then at the same time, you sell 220 call on Amazon, expiring on December 5th, which is 13 days. You collect back $6.45. Net of the two, you pay $11.73, which means 100 shares, you pay $1,173 per contract. So you can clearly see the benefit of doing this. First of all, this one you collect 645, right? That immediately slash your capital by 1/3, right? So 1800 become 1200 right now. So you immediately reduce your cost by 1/3. So that's the first thing. Benefit, you reduce your capital and you reduce your max risk as well. As I said, if you do this together, leg 1 and 2 together, that is the concept of lease to rent. You don't need to buy a property to do Airbnb or rent short term, right? You can lease a long-term house and then you rent it out on a short-term basis to collect rents. What is a good thing about this strategy? There are many good things about this strategy. Number 1, it optimizes your capitals. You see, I talked about earlier, by collecting this premium, you immediately slash your capital down by 1/3. Immediately, right at the entry. You don't have to wait any day. Right at the entry, you cut the cost by 1/3, right? So that's the first benefit, right? And the capital you use to be much lower, and as I said, potentially, it will boost your return on investment significantly. Not only uses less capital, it also reduces the risk, because the capital you pay will be your max risk. You cannot lose more than what you pay here. Now, your max risk is no longer 1800. Your max risk is now 1173, right? So you reduce your max risk by 1/3 as well, not just the capital. The good thing about doing both 1, 2 together is this one. You will turn the trade into a positive time decay benefit. Right? Time decay works in the trade favor. Right? So you no longer swim against the current. Now you swim with the current. So even if you stop swimming for a while, the current will move you ahead. Right? So then now if you swim, then it will be even faster. So you can reach your destination much faster. And because of that, you have a higher probability of winning in the trade. Right? And why you have this such of the good thing about the time decay benefit, the trade? Well, because remember, the short dated option you sell here will decay much faster than the long option that you buy. And net of the two, you have a positive time decay. And let me show you it on the platform and you can understand it very clearly. Yeah. Let me go back to this chart, right? The platform. So let's assume I just buy the call option, the leg 1. Let me just buy this one and I pay 18.18 and I analyze it, right? So 18.18, this is a typical chart of the long call option, right? And if if the price right now is right here at 220 around that, and if you look at the analytics that the platform tell you in the thing here, you can see that every single day passes, this trade would lose about $10. As I said, 1818 over 90 days should be about $20, right? But at the beginning, you see that the decay will be slower, but the decay will increase over time. Now let me show you how the decay value will increase over time. Today is November 23rd, right? Every day passes, it will hurt the trade by $10. But as I simulate the time passing here, you see the time decay will increase. You see, as the time passes, the time decay will increase over time. So that's what I mean. The closer to the expiration date, the faster the time decay will be, and that will hurt the trade even more. And if you move more to closer to the expiry date, you will see that the time decay will approach 20 and go beyond 20 as well, very close to the expiration. You see now it's go over $20 a day, right? So you get the point. The closer to the expiration date, the faster the time decay will be. Let's move back to today, which is November 23rd, right? Today, so $10 again. So that is when you buy the call only. Now, if you sell a call, the short dated call here, the 220 call, and expiring in 2 weeks time here, you sell and you collect $6.45. Sell it, right? And then you analyze the same thing. Now let me untick the call that I buy. Let me just pick the short call, the one that I sell here. This is a typical chart of selling call only. And using the same calculation, right? The theta here, you can see theta mean the time decay. Huh? So right now, this short call option, it loses $23 a day. It loses $23 a day. Remember, right now, my long call, if I buy this one, it will lose $10 a day. This one lose $23 a day. So net of the two, I would have a positive $23 a day, right? Because I collect rent and that rent decay like $23 a day. I pay the landlord for rent, for leasing the house, I pay $10 a day. So imagine that way. The rent I collect worth like $23 a day. The lease that I pay to the landlord, I pay $10 a day. So net I still benefit like $13 a day. And again, the $23 here also accelerate when the time passes, right? As the time passes, it also accelerates. So keep in mind that one. Right? So if I do both, you see now I take both here. I take this one should be 45 because I will be able to sell at the mid price, right? But won't change the whole thing. Now, if I do both leg 1 and leg 2 together, the chart will look like this. And look at the theta mean time decay. See, I have a net benefit of $13 a day. So I pay the landlord 10 and I collect 23 from the guy who lease who rent my home. I collect 23 from him. So net I still have a net profit of $13 a day. So that's the concept of lease to rent, right? So now I have the time decay working in my favor, right? Time decay work in my favor. And this is a concept of swimming along with the current. And therefore, the trade will have a higher probability of winning. Right? What is the bad things about this strategy doing together 1 and 2? Well, the profit is capped for sure. You don't have unlimited profit like by your call option. The profit is capped. And number 2, the calendar spread has 2 loss zones, which I will show you in the next slides. It has 2 loss zones. So if the stock price goes up a lot or the stock price falls a lot, it will hurt the trade. So that is the bad thing about the calendar spread. So this is a chart, right? It has a break-even point here. Break-even point here, break-even point here. The stock price is currently somewhere here. If it stays within the profit zone, the trade will be very profitable. But if it moves up too much, too fast, or drops too much, then it will be losing. Yeah. So that is bad things about the calendar spread. So the chart looks like this. 1 profit zone, significant, and then 2 loss zones, both sides. Now, how to construct a C trade here? First one, I enter the C trade, the calendar spread, mostly as a neutral trade. So neutral trade means I don't know where the stock price will go next, especially now the stock price is consolidating, bouncing around, going sideways. I cannot guess which way the stock price will go. And I have to assume that the stock price will continue to fluctuate around the current price. And therefore, I would enter the trade as a calendar spread at the current stock price, which is a neutral trade. Neutral trade means if the stock price is neutral, goes sideways, consolidation, it will benefit the trade. So most of the time I use it as a neutral trade. I buy a long dated call option near or at the money. ATM means at the money. So stock price right now at 220 and I buy a 220 strike. So that is at the money, right? So I sell the call, shorter expiry, same strike price, 220. So then by doing it, I combine the two and that cut my max risk or my capital significantly. As I mentioned earlier, from 1800, I cut it down by 1/3. So my max loss of the calendar spread is only 1200, right? And then because the much lower capital that I use, the potential return on investment on the trade is very high. Could be as high as 50% or 150%. I will show you some of the samples later on where I could get more than 100% return on investment as well. Yeah. So that is a trade calendar spread. What are the key checklists you need to have before you enter a calendar spread? Now, you may feel a little bit overwhelmed by now, lots of things, right? But don't worry, we have very detailed videos to explain, to guide you through, and you can ask questions along the way as well. But you can see that the level of details we're teaching, what I'm teaching today is just maybe 10% of what we are teaching in the real courses, right? So then you will see a lot more details in the course with all the practical real trades that I use as illustration as well. Yeah. So the entry rule for the C trade, first of all, ideally you use it on stocks with high liquidity, right? Stock with weekly options, because here you want high liquidity means when you want to buy, there's a seller who willing to sell to you, or when you want to sell, there's a buyer who willing to buy your options, right? So liquidity means you always have a easy, you can easily get in or get out of the trade. So that's what liquidity. So the way for you to check the liquidity is to make sure the stock has a weekly options. So Amazon definitely very famous stock, lots of people trading it. So there are weekly options available there, and the bid and the ask is very tight. So then it's easy for you to get in and get out. Yeah. Technical setup, I talk about my favorite technical setup for calendar spread. I talk it, so I don't want to explain it now, and I don't want to repeat it, right? Again, to construct the trade, you buy a call option near at the money, expiring between 3 to 6 months, or could be 9 months as well if you want, and you sell a short dated option, right? And expiring in like 2, 3, 4 weeks, right? so that you can have a faster time decay benefit. The max risk of the trade is a net premium of the two legs, right? And that is also your max capital. The max risk, the net entry price, the same thing. Yeah. And one way for you to check if the trade has a good profile or not, you check the max return on investment. So the chart has the tip of the triangle, that is your max profit, right? Check if that max profit can translate into at least 25% of return on investment. If more than 25%, it's even better. Yeah. Now 25% is before rolling, but the C trade will be rolled through many rounds, right? And eventually you will make a lot more than 25%. And that's why there's some trades that I could make more than 100% return on investment. And ideally, the probability of winning the triangle, the profit zone is about 50% or more than 50%. That would be ideal, right? So here's how to construct the trade. And this is the screenshot of the option chain that I showed you earlier, right? And it's the same thing, right? If you check the Thinkorswim platform or even IBKR platform, you see the data almost the same, or exactly the same. Right now, the supply as a close of last Friday, it is at 220.69. So call it 220, right? And then I will do two legs. Leg one, I will buy a call option at 220, which is near at the current stock price. I call it at the money or near at the money. And I pay 18 for it, right? So that is the premium I paid. Leg two, I will sell a shorter option, dated option 13 days here, December 5th, and I collect back $6.45, same strike price, shorter DTE. Right? So if I do both together at the same time, then the broker will show me the trade here, calendar spread, where I buy February 220, right? And that call option, yeah. And then I sell at the same time, I sell one call option, Amazon, and shorter DTE, December 5th, also 220, call option as well. So net of the two, and you see here, I paid only 11.73. So I slashed the cost by 1/3. From 18.18, I slashed it down to 11.73. And that 11.73 is also the max loss, right? The capital of the trade, and also the max loss, right? So that's you cannot lose more than the 1173 after you enter this trade. That is the max loss, even if Amazon price goes to zero. The maximum loss is 1173. Then you say it's much safer, right? You trade stuff, you buy it, you put a stop loss, but what if the stock price gaps down much below your stop loss? You will be filled at a lower price, right? You could lose a lot of money. But in in option trading, you cannot lose more than that what you pay here, right? More than what you pay here. All right, so let's move on to the risk profile, the chart that you can see on the trading platform as well. So the chart of calendar spread looks like this. It looks like a triangle, right? In the middle, that is profit zone. You have two loss zones on the left and on the right side of the chart. Anything above zero line will be profit. So this is profit, right? This is a loss, right? So that is how you interpret the chart. So as you can see here, the trade has a profit zone somewhere here. Right? If the stock price right now in the middle, 220 here. So it has some margin for error on the downside and some margin for error on the upside as well. So as I said, if even I'm wrong, I enter the trade too early and the stock price drop, well, you see the trade do not lose money at expiration. So right now the stock price is at 220, right? At the expiration of the short term, which is 2 weeks from now, if the stock price stays above $212 to 11.7 here, the trade would still be profitable. So even if the stock price drops like $9, the stock price drops like $9, the trade would still be profitable. So that's what I'm saying, right? Even if you are wrong in calendar spread, the trade has a decent margin of safety on the downside to protect you from the loss. Only when if the stock price drops a lot, yes, it will go into your loss zone. Yeah. So that is the beauty of calendar spread that I like. Yeah. So that, and again, even if it drops a lot, the maximum loss is 1173. 1173. You cannot lose more than that. That is the best thing about trading option, right? You know exactly how much your max loss. Even there's a quick flash crash, doesn't matter. You won't lose more than this. Yeah. So that's the best thing about trading option, right? You define the risk. So this is a typical P&L profile for the calendar spread or C trade. Right? The max profit is you just hover your mouse, the computer mouse over this big point here of the chart, and the platform will tell you how much is that point. So typically you can estimate here is around $420. That at the max profit, and then you divide it by the capital, which is the max loss here, 1173. It translates into about 33.8%. Sorry, 35.8%, which is more than 25%, which is good. So anytime you have a trade that has at least 25% max return on investment, it considered a very decent trade to enter. So in this case, it's very good because it has 35% return on investment. And before rolling, after rolling many rounds, you could potentially get a much higher return on investment. So that is the entry part, right? So what is the exit rules? What are the exit rules I have for the trade? Well, there are three scenarios here. Scenario number one, if the stock price stays flat, what you do? Keep rolling the short call to a new 2-3 weeks or 4 weeks, right? To collect more premium. Yeah, when the current short call expires, and 2 weeks from now it expires, you will roll it to another 2 weeks. The concept of you keep leasing that house, but you will find a new tenant. You find a new Airbnb tenant for another 2 weeks. I keep collecting rents if the price stays flat. And because the rents you collect is much more than the lease that you pay, you end up with profitable, right? Yeah, end up with being profitable. Now, scenario number two, if the price starts to rally, the moment you see the stock price done the consolidation, or you already bottom now ready to rally, then you can immediately upgrade your C trade to a D trade. That will be step 2, right? Remember, this is a 2-step process, right? Step 1, buy a C, and step 2, upgrading the C to D, right? And then I will explain the D trade later on, right? But once you upgrade the trade to D, that means you will eliminate the loss zone on the upside. So upside will have a tremendous headroom for you to get profit on the upside the moment you upgrade to D, right? So once you trade, after you roll it and upgrade to D and the supply goes up, chances are your trade will be very profitable and take profit between 50% to 150% return on investment. Around that. Most of the time I take it between 50 to 100%. Yeah. Now, worst case scenarios, the stock price collapses. Well, in this case, you cut loss at 50% of max loss. Remember, the max loss is now reduced, right? 1173. That is your max loss. So the moment it drops and it hits your half of that, so $600, then you cut loss. Right? You manage your loss at 50%, $600 only. Right? So that's a good thing. Right? You know how much your max loss, and you don't let the max loss run to the max, right? You will cut loss early the moment it hits 50%. So that is a typical chart. If it goes up, you will roll the C2D, and the moment you roll the C2D, the P&L chart looks like this. Then there will be no loss zone on upside anymore. So there will be only profit zone. Right? So that's where you earn a lot of profit. right? So that is upgrading the C2D. Now, if you're wrong, the stop price drops a lot. Well, you cut loss at about 600 here. That is a stop loss. That is a stop loss you need to cut. Yeah. Now, if you've been in the trade for some time and you've been rolling the short on several rounds, the more you roll, the more profit you generate, the lower risk you will have, right? So then it's harder to hit the stop loss. Okay, what are the key benefits of the C trade? I see trade, as I say now, you probably see it, right? It uses much less capital compared to buying shares. So buying 100 shares of Amazon, you need what? You need $22,000. One trade of Amazon calendar spread, like the one I just showed you, it uses only 1173, right? 1173. That is a max loss. And that's the capital you need to use for this C trade. Compared to how much you need to buy 100 shares of Amazon. Wow, this is 2200. So how much is that you use in terms of capital? 1173 divided by 1173 divided by 22,000. You use only 5%. So in this case, you use only 5% of the capital. So then for those of you who have smaller account, you can afford it, right? You don't need like hundreds of thousands of dollars account to trade anymore, right? So one trade like this costs you 1,000 plus. So even if you have like $5,000 account, you can have a few trades already. All right, so that's the beauty of trading option. It's very suitable for small account traders here because it doesn't use a lot of capital, right? So that is the capital optimization thing that I like about the trade. Number two, because you use less capital, when you make a profit, that will translate into an enormous return on investment, right? And a typical C trade, I take profit between 50 to 100% return on investment, and that's the way you build your wealth, right? Number three, the sell call that you collect the premium there will help reduce the max risk of the trade, right? So when you combine the leg one and leg two, you do two things. Number one, you reduce the max loss. Remember the original trade, you have the max loss of 1,800. But when you do one and two combined, the max loss becomes only 1,200, right? 1,173. So you reduce the max loss. At the same time, you also eliminate the unlimited risk exposure. Remember, if you do the leg two only, where you sell a call option, you have unlimited risk exposure if the supply surges, right? But if you do one and two, you won't have that unlimited risk anymore. Again, you cannot lose more than what you paid here. The maximum risk either side would be 1,173. That's it. You eliminate the unlimited risk exposure if you do both one and two combined. So that is the beauty of option. And many people don't know how to use option. They can just, they watch YouTube and they buy call option. They watch YouTube and they sell call option. And each of them is not safe for you. One is so dangerous and the other one is so losing, right? But if you combine the two in the right way, that will become a winning strategy. That's the beauty of the option. So it's like a clock, right? It has a short hand, it has a long hand. The short hand can only tell you the hours. The long hand can tell you the minutes. So each of them operates individually, won't tell you anything. Right? You cannot tell the time. But if you combine the short hand, the long hand of the clock, it gives you one extra benefit that each of the individual leg cannot do, which is telling the time, right? So if you have both long hand and short hand in the clock, it can tell you the time. If you only have the short hand, or if you have only a long hand, it cannot tell you the time, right? So again, you need to know how to trade option properly, right? The C trade also have a decent profit zone and with a decent probability of winning. And as I said, you can upgrade your for your C trade into D trade, which is diagonal spread, to ride on the uptrend, which I will talk about D trade in next few slides. Best thing, as I said, time is now your friend because you are paid to wait, right? The calendar spread has a net positive time decay benefit to you. So then time works in your favor, right? You are paid to wait. And lastly, you can use calendar spread on speculative stocks as well, right? I don't mind using, calendar spread on speculative stocks because typically speculative stocks have a good premium, the short dated option premium. That means you can keep collecting rents, right? Now the concept of doing this is like this, okay? You lease a house for 6 months and you rent it to tenants, right? Most of the time you have good tenants, right? Very nice, pay you on time, keep things in orders and do not cause any damage to the house and everything. Occasionally you rent it to a reckless tenant, like, I don't know, but he's willing to pay you big rent, right? But the chance is like, sometimes he's very troubling, right? He could cause some damage to some of your furniture and stuff like that. So occasionally you face that kind of tenants and then, yes, you get a more premium, but you also pay for some damage. But overall, it's still okay. So again, not like my favorite one, but I don't mind. Some tenants are not cool, right? But willing to pay me 2 times, 3 times of rent. Then I'm okay. Of course, I'm aware of the risk, right? So take it as an analogy for using calendar spread on speculative trade. Sometimes you could face some reckless tenants as well. Right, so what are the disadvantages of C trade? Right, C trade, as I said, profit is capped. That's the max profit you can earn. Unlike by a call option, you have unlimited profit potential. You have 2 loss zones. As you say, on the left hand side, on the right hand side. Then if the stock price moves a lot on the downside or moves a lot on the upside, then the trade could be hurt as well. And number 3, it takes some time when you enter a calendar spread. You need to spend more time to manage the trade, like rolling every time, like it due for expiry. Then you need to roll it. It's like when you lease a home, right? To rent it to short-term tenants, right? So every 2 weeks you need to find a new tenant. Every 2 weeks you need to find a new tenant, right? So it kind of you need to put some effort, right, to make money. It's not like just rent, lease, and then sit there for 9 months. No, you need to actively look for tenants to rent your house. That's the effort, the trade-off you need to have. All right, so let me show you one example where I enter a C trade calendar spread and I was wrong on the timing, but the trade still end up with making money, right? So this is a Humana trade that I enter, and my entry point is here sometime late of April. So late of April. So look at the setup, right? The supply has been declining on a steady decline trend, but it seems to have some support here, right? Very strong support here. So it's similar to what I showed you on the CRM chart, right? The Salesforce. It's kind of having a support. So I believe this is a strong support. And then when the supply is retracing to near that support level, I enter the trade. So the stop price at that point in time was at this level. It is about 260. So I entered the trade at about 260 level. So as you can see here, this is a screenshot of my trades using IBKR account. and it happened to be my OTP portfolio. And later on, I talk a little bit on my OTP service, right? So I entered the trade for my OTP members using calendar spread, as you can see here. That is on, I don't know the day, but it's I think April 29. When the supply is at 260, I enter the trade at 260, right? I buy a call at 260. I buy a call at 260 here, and I sell a call at 260 as well. The buy call expires in November, and the short call, the one I sell, expires in May. So end of April, I enter the trade, and I sell call expiring in May 16, I mean 2 weeks DT, right? So typical trade that I have. Buy long dated call, sell short dated call, 2 weeks expiry, same strike price, near the money. And in this case, I enter with 2 contracts. So I pay a net debit of the 2. So the long call, I pay 3,400 for one contract, so times 2, that's 6,000 something. And the short call, I collected 1,300 times 2, so I collected back $2,600. So if you look at the net entry price, that is this one, 21.1 times 2, that is $4,220 capital. That is my max loss, right? So that is max loss here, 4,220. That is entry capital I pay for the trade, 2 contracts. So the theory, the thesis that I have at that point in time is, okay, Kumana has bottom and now is consolidating and bouncing around, and it could be due for rebound, right? So I enter the trade on that day, right? Now I did not know that I was wrong, right? So then few days after I entered the trade, the stock price suddenly gaps down significantly, and gap down like here, and then that is the date when my short call, the 16th of May short call here expires. So on 16th of May here, I need to roll my short call. So I roll by closing the own one. Now the own one I collected 13.16. I bought back only 12 cents. So I almost get the full value back. Yeah, the full value of the short call. And I sell the new short call. Now the new short call I sell, I collected $1.78, much lower than the first one. Why? Because the stock price has dropped so much. Right? So now I just roll to buy time for the stock price to recover. Right? Because I'm wrong. So in this case I was wrong, completely wrong. So like when I lease a house and the whole market went down and the rental market also dropped significantly. So the next tenant, I couldn't find a good tenant anymore. I need to reduce the rent to get the new tenant. So that's why I collect less premium. But it's okay. I keep renting it out even for a smaller rent, just enough to buy me time for the better market, right? And you see I have done it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rounds. So I roll it 6 rounds until I close it. So what happened during that 6 times? So I roll it here first time. I roll it again when the supply is still below my entry price. I roll it again when the supply went even lower. I roll it again when the supply is still not recovered. And I roll again when the supply is still below my entry point. And lastly, when the supply is here on, I think it's mid of June, it's still below my entry point. The exit point here below my entry point, right? But I close the trade completely. Why? Because the trade has generated a decent profit. You see, in this case, I am wrong, but my trade is still profitable. That is the beauty of calendar spread. Yes, the stock price dropped after I enter the trade, but still the trade is profitable. For those who are in my OTP community, you've seen the trade, and I explained it also in community, right? This is actually not an ideal trade, but it's okay, right? You make money even when you are wrong. That's the good thing about option trading. You see, every time I roll to the same strike price. I did not upgrade my trade. I continue to roll to the same strike price every time, right? Upgrading means I need to roll to a higher strike. So in this case, I could not roll to a higher strike because the supply keep depressed, right? It keep saying low level. I cannot raise my rent, right? So I keep that level, but because all the rents that I collect in between, here, right? And finally, I did a little bit bullish when the market recovers or the price recovers a little bit, though it's still below my entry point, but it's enough for me to exit the trade. And I exit the trade, I collect back 19. Right? So I enter, I pay 21, I exited the trade, I collect back 19, so I'm making a loss, but if you consider all the rents I collect in between, it translates into a profitable trade. And I made $1,700 profit in this trade. That translates into about 40.3% return on investment, even when I was completely wrong on the price, right? So this is the power of the C trade. It has a decent protection on the downside, right? So then I love this one. That's why you see I use this one a lot in my community, and I will continue to use it, right? Because I have a good protection on the downside, right? So let me now move to the leg number 2 or step number 2. So why C trade is good, especially if the supply goes sideways or goes down slightly. But remember, the trade has a loss zone on the upside, on the right hand side. That's don't take action, the price will move into my loss zone on the upside, right? So that is the intent of the step number 2. You need to upgrade your C trade to a D trade to unleash or to increase the headroom or to create more headroom for the upside. Otherwise, the trade will get into the loss zone on the upside, and that's a very sad thing, right? You don't want to miss the opportunity when the supply recovers or rallies, right? You need to upgrade the C trade to a D trade when the stock starts to rally. So when the stock price starts to rally, the way you upgrade is to roll the short call to a higher strike price. What does it mean, roll? Roll means you just buy back the short call that you currently in. You close it. You buy back because when you sell, you open, right? Now you close it by buying back. You buy back and close the short call. At the same time, you sell to open a new short call at a higher strike price and with a further expiry date. DTE means date to expiration. So the expiry date. So the concept that I like to use in this case is this. Imagine you lease to rent, right? You lease the house and you rent to a tenant. You rent to a tenant for 2 weeks. Now, suddenly the whole rental market goes up significantly, right? Then you know what? You can negotiate with the current tenant. You say, hey tenant, is there a way I can compensate you for the rent, but I really need to get my house back, right? Because of ABC. You can create some of the reason, okay? And you negotiate with the current tenants, okay? And then, okay, I'm willing to pay you a little more money for you to move out earlier, okay? And then the tenant agrees and then move out earlier. And then you can now rent it to a new tenant, richer one, at a much higher rental. And you can create extra headroom for the upside, right? So that's the concept that I like to use. Just buy back the current contract and then sell the new one with the higher potential, right? So the new trade, the D trade, the one that you are upgrading to, we call it diagonal spread, it also has 2 legs. The leg number 1 is the old long call, the call that you have originally from the C trade, right? So basically that is the lease contract you have with the landlord, right? You have the same contract with the landlord. That one remain the same, right? You don't change it. What you change is you sell a new contract. So then you buy back the old one. So you negotiate with the tenant. The old tenant moves out, and then you rent it out to the new tenant at a higher price, right? So that is the concept of upgrading your trade to a D trade. All right, everyone. I hope it's give you a clear example. Now, how do I do it? So normally, right after you enter the trade, you don't upgrade immediately. Normally, you don't. Because the stock price normally takes some time to stabilize, and then rallies. But the moment it starts to rally, then you need to upgrade, right? So by the time it starts to rally, the old short call that you sell already decays some value. So it brings some benefit to you already, right? Then when you buy back to upgrade, then you need to buy back at a lower price, right? So then you can upgrade at a cheaper cost, right? Now, assuming worst case scenario, when you just enter the trade and the stock price starts to move up already, and you want to upgrade the trade immediately, can you do that? Yes, you can. Okay. So for example, here's a trade you can upgrade here. Remember this short call that I sell 2 weeks, right? 220, and I collect 645. After I enter the trade and the Amazon stock price starts to move up very sharply up, right? I say, okay, let's upgrade the trade immediately because the stock looks like very bullish right now. Then I immediately close this one out. So I pay back $645, assuming I do it immediately, right? And then I sell a higher strike price. Instead of selling at 220, now I sell at 230, right? So then 230, of course, I collect less premium because it further out the money. So in that case, I will need to roll for a debit. So I need to pay extra costs to upgrade my trade, right? So my trade will now cost more. So the original trade cost me 173, remember? Now I need to add $295 on top. So that is the intent of upgrading, right? If it just, you just enter the trade and you need to upgrade already, typically you need to pay a debit. But if some time has passed and then you upgrade after that, then sometimes you can upgrade at a much lower cost, or even you can upgrade for a debit or credit, meaning you collect some money for upgrading as well. And for those of you who've been in the community, you know many times I roll for a credit, right? Credit means you get the new tenant and you pay you get the new rents as well. So then in this case, this is worst case scenario. I just enter the trade and I need to upgrade it immediately. So then I need to pay extra capital for the upgrade, the 295, right? The net of the two. Then here's the chart of the D trade. So the moment I upgrade my trade profile, the P&L profile looks very different now. It no longer has a loss zone on the upside, right? The C trade, remember, it has loss zone on the left hand side and one loss zone on the upside, right? This one, essentially, you eliminate the loss zone in the upside. Or maybe you have a small loss zone on the upside, but most of the time you see you eliminate the loss zone on the upside, right? So that's a good thing. So now the supply goes up, won't concern you anymore, right? Because then it will still be profitable, right? So that is the intent of the D trade. You make sure your trade will not lose when the supply goes higher. So that is intent of upgrading. Now, when you upgrade your trade, your net trade will cost you more. So remember, 1173 plus 295. Now your trade will cost you 1468, right? So that is your new cost. Yeah. So you increase the capital to 1469, but your max profit also goes higher, right? No longer 420, now 650, and the whole profit zone will be extended, and will have much higher chance of being profitable. So the max profit is now even higher, 44%. So that is the leg number 2. Sorry, not leg number, the step number 2. Step 1, enter the C trade. Step 2, upgrading C trade to D trade. And this is what I'm talking about. So that the whole intent of C2D, right? Enter with a C to protect your downside risk in case you are wrong, collecting premium in case the supply goes sideways, and now you flip into a D trade, which will help you ride on the uptrend. So that is the C2D concept that I'm having. I show you a few examples of C2D trades that I did here. I think this one I did it for the Wave Riders community. For those who have been in the Wave Rider community can confirm this one also. This is a trade I enter for Meta. Now this is a trade I enter on Meta on September 26th. Let me check the time. Okay, good. I think we're on time. September 29, sorry. September 29, I entered the trade on Meta. As you can see here, this is a calendar spread. As you can see, it's a calendar spread. I buy a call expiring in December 19, on December 19, and I sell a put. I sell a call expiring October 10, and I pay a net debit of $36.95. So one contract means I paid $3,600 or close to $3,700, right? So $3,700 capital for the trade. The exact one is $3,669. That's my capital. So when I enter the trade, what was my thesis? My thesis is that Meta chart looks like uptrend, right? And every time it dip, it bounced back. So it like dip on the uptrend. So right now on that day, on September 29, it looks like it is dipping on the uptrend. So I was betting that the supply will rebound soon, right? Because every time it hit this 50 moving average, right, it immediately bounced off that, right? So now it is hitting that 50 moving average, and I was counting on the rebound on that day. So I entered the trade paying $36.95 for the trade. Well, from the chart, you can obviously see that I was wrong again. I was wrong. So the supply went down after I entered the trade. And then on the day when I supposed to roll the short on expired on October 10 here. So on the October 10, I need to roll this one. And because the supply dropped so much, right? So then I would not be able to collect more premium. Like the first round, I collect $1,300 for the short call. So the first round of rolling, because the supply dropped a lot, I collected a net credit or new rent for new tenant of only $345. Right? So one contract, $345, not $1,300 anymore, because the supply has dropped a lot. But yet my total trade lost only $5. So what happened here? The rent that I collected from the first tenant here is good enough to cover the loss in my long call. So net, despite the fact that the supply had dropped so much, I think it dropped like 30 points. So when I entered the trade, the supply was at 750, and now it dropped to 720. The supply dropped to 720. My trade lost only $5. Okay, so that's the first roll. The second roll, because I could not get a very good premium for the second roll because the supply dropped a lot. Then I rolled it again. This time I collected $260, and the supply dropped a little bit further. So my trade loss increased to $193. Not was a huge amount compared to the total max loss of 3,006. I lost less than $200. So at that point in time, the supply dropped below $700. So imagine I entered a trade when the supply was at 750. Now it drops 50 points. But my trade lost only $200. So imagine 50 points if you buy 100 shares. 50 points translate into what? 50 points mean $5,000 if you buy 100 shares. And the supply dropped 50 points. That means you lose $5,000 if you use stops in this case. But my option trade lost only $193. All right, so in this case, I was wrong, and I keep finding new tenants. Yeah, the new tenant pay me less rent. It's okay. And then when the supply recovers here, my trade turns around. So now my trade makes $650. And then I roll from the last round before I close it for a much better premium. So now I collect $600 plus for that last rolling because the supply has recovered. The whole market has recovered, right? The supply recovered. And the last round I roll it up to upgrade my trade. Remember, I used to sell and buy at 750, and I keep rolling to 750. The last round I roll it to 795 because I anticipate a further rally because supplies look like it already rallies, right? So I upgraded my trade from C trade to a diagonal spread. So I rolled the short con from 750 up on the way to 795. Yet I'm paid for that rolling. So that what it means is at the end of the tenant agreement with the one who ran my home, the market went up, and I did not do. I pay the old one with a very small amount, and he moves out. And then I found a new tenant who willing to pay me much better premium, and even I sell at the higher strike price, I still collected a very good rent for that. And after I rolled that one up, the supply rallies, basically rally to a slightly higher price than my entry point. My entry point is 750. This one I think 755. That's where my trade makes so good money, right? 972, right? Because the supply keep going higher because I created more headroom for the trade, and the supply went up after that. Now, what made me close the trade at this level? Well, it is because earnings coming right after that. So right before earnings, I look at the trade. I say, okay, this trade making a decent profit, 972. Not at my profit target. Remember, my profit target is about 50%. So this one is somewhere in the middle. But because the trade make a decent profit, I make a call to close the whole thing early and took the profit and run. Right. So the trade makes 972, translating into 26.3% return on investment. Now, on the hindsight, it turns out to be a very good timing because we know the supply plunge on earnings. Okay, so that's a different story. In this case, somehow my hunch tells me that I should lock in the profit. Now, if the trade has made less profit, like $200, $300, perhaps I keep the trade, and perhaps my trade had lost money as well. But in this case, yeah, you can call me luck in this case because I closed it just before earnings. But just tell you the mechanism of the trade, even when I was wrong right here, the trade is pretty okay. I mean, losing a little bit compared to stocks. I just want to show you that important points, that the C trade has a good protection on the downside. And of course, when it recovers and I upgrade it to D trade, supply keep going higher, then the profit is just a matter of time. Yeah. Another trade, this is a longer dated trade. I don't want to get into about very detailed. This is also, I think this is also a wave rider trade. So for those who are in the wave rider community, you probably seen this trade also. This one I rolled many rounds. I cannot remember how many rounds. You just read it from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 rounds of rolling. Now this trade I trade on GLD, which is gold ETF. So the setup here before the entry, you see gold is on the uptrend, right? But it has some resistance level at about 317 here or 318. And the last time before I entered the trade, it kind of could not break above that swing high or resistance level, and it pulls back. But clearly it's on uptrend. So every time it pulls back, it's like dip on the uptrend. Remember, dip on uptrend, that is my favorite setup for a C trade. So by end of May, I enter the C trade here, right? On that day, I think the trade is here. I don't know if it's big enough for you to see calendar spread. And I paid $10.59 and 3 contracts, 2 contracts. So I paid $2,100 basically. And strike price the same, 303, which is the market price. So 303 is around the market price at that point in time. So I enter a C trade there. And the supply keep going like this, you know, for a long time, keep going around, consolidating. And every time it hit this resistance level, it pulls back. Every time it hits this level, it pulls back, right? So it looks like very strong resistance level. And since I entered the trade, you look at the P&L of my trade, right? Fluctuating, depends on where the price goes. It up $27 profit. And then when it goes here on the day, I roll it up to near $300 profit. But then the profit is down to only 68 when the supply pulls back. And then when the supply drops further, it lost $98. Supply recovers, the trade turn around, supply recover further here, it makes more money, so almost $900. But then after that, it failed the resistance level, it pulls back a lot, the trade turned into a loss again, so the loss now 400, and it recovers. On the day when I roll it, it makes profit 316, and then on the day when I roll it next, it makes 185, on the day when I roll it next, it makes 246, and then finally it starts to rally, and my trade makes a lot more profit, 886, and finally it broke above that resistance level, and my trade makes $1,011 on that rolling day. But then, because after I roll, and I think this one I upgraded my trade into a diagonal spread. So along the way, you see many times I upgraded the trade, but then the price goes back down, and I move my trade back down to a calendar spread. So I just keep switching my trade between C and D and C and D and C and D many times, and eventually when the supply rallies here, I upgrade my trade into a C. So my final short call is 318. Remember, the original short call is 303, and the final one I upgraded it into a D trade with the short call at 318, which has much higher headroom for the upside, and the supply broke out to new high. And I exited the trade right here and generated $1,350 profit, And the reason why I exited the trade too early, because the trade generated decent profit, right? So remember, my rule of trading is take profit at the profit range or cut loss at the stop loss. So in this case, it is within my profit zone between 50 to 100, right? So somewhere in the middle, I'm happy with the profit, so I lock in the profit, right? And obviously from the chart now on, we look back the chart from the hindsight, we find that we miss a lot of upside here, right? So should I held onto the trade and keep upgrading my trade into a D plus, then obviously the trade could have made a lot more profit. But hey, I never complain when I make profit. Okay, profit is profits, and is profit 63, 64% is good enough. I don't look back and feel regrets, especially when I make profit. So just tell you the power of C trade upgrading into D trade. You can ride, even along the way, you see many times it pulls back, right? The trade keeps fluctuating between profitable, losing a little bit, and eventually it will be profitable again. So that is the concept of C2D upgrade. All right, now let me introduce the ultimate income boosting roadmap for traders, investors, and this is a program I mentioned earlier, right? It's not a one-off training, right? It is a full package, the mentorship program, right? Option Way Riders, and Adam, myself, and the whole PT team, YY as well, we work together and we designed this program very specially for guiding traders from the scratch until they get their option skill master, right? That's what we want. We don't want one-off offer. We want the whole journey. And why is it? Because Adam, myself, YY, we have benefited from this kind of holistic program, right? I tell you, 13 years ago when I took the first training, option training, and that was a one-off, right? And after that training, I have nowhere to go. When I want to ask questions, nobody answer me because there was no such thing called community or channels. Even I sent a message to my teacher, I got his reply after 1 month. That's what the point, right? So this is different. This is completely different, I tell you. So the whole program includes two parts. Level 1, we call it Iron Shell, and level 2, we call it Iron Striker, right? So with these two basic and advanced levels you can have here, you can gain the skills and benefit from different market directions or conditions, like boom, there, we don't care, right? Especially it is pre-recorded, so you can learn at your own pace, right? Anytime, anywhere, with the laptop, with the iPad, you can watch and you keep learning and you keep reinforce your learning, right? So level 1, where we cover everything from zero, from basic, right? What is options all about, setting charts, understand basic concept, calls and puts option, on the Greeks, on the volatilities and stuff like that. Buy call, sell put, buy sell call, buy put, whatever you do, what does it mean, right? And then we do have option strategies for investor, right? So Adam talked about it this morning. Like if you want to collect more premium or income from the stocks you are holding, you can sell cover call against the stocks as well. Or he also talked about this morning on classic put, where you could sell a put option below the current stock price to potentially buy shares at a steep discount. If you don't get the discount, well, you just get a premium for free. Concept of selling premium, right? And then if you are a small account trader and you want to trade direction, then there are strategies that use less capital, right? Like boom con spread, like bear put spread, and then why we talk about boom con spread, because he also used boom con spread a lot, making tons of money on boom con spread. And then part 4, we have the credit spread, right? So Adam talked about boom put spread this morning, right? You sell insurance and then you buy a reinsurance to protect the downside risk. So that's the concept of boom put spread. You can do the same on the upside. You sell a con and you buy a high con to protect the risk on the upside. We cover basic technical analysis, and we do have some bonus session as well. I also have the option assignment videos there, because most of the time people are very worried when their option get assigned, right? So what you should do in that scenario, would you be happy or would you be worried about that, right? So I have full videos about option assignment, and after watching it, you don't have to worry about it anymore. I think you should be happy after that. And then we have the summary on what situation, what setup you should use for what strategy. And then we have some other extra bonus strategies like cash flow wheels. So those of you who have a big account, you can consider do cash flow wheel. That's a very passive way of trading, but generating good premium and good income as well. You could also potentially hedge your portfolio with put option, right? So those are things that we cover in level 1. Level 2, as you can see here, we have so many more advanced strategies, and those with the TM trademark there are the strategies that are invented either by me or by Adam, right? So we have trade lizard, we have crouching boom, we have boom put spread extreme, we have diagonal spread, we have boom color, we have DSM. So those are bullish or bearish, moderately bearish kind of strategies, so that you can construct your trade in line with your cases. And then we have other strategies that where you can take advantage of market going sideways, like Condor, like calendar spread, the one I just mentioned, right? Snipex 4B. So those are the ones that you will benefit from the market sideways as well. Now, if you are aggressively bullish on one strategy or bearish on one direction, you can use the synthetic. And I am sure, Adam talked briefly on the synthetic this morning, but YY will talk a lot more on synthetic spread that he has used and make a lot of money, right? I have boom bound strategies that I created as well, which you can benefit from the market going higher also. Now, we do have other strategies that we design for events, right? We know that people are itchy. Their hands are itchy whenever it comes to things like earnings, right? They want to trade earnings. I tell you, based on my experience, if you don't know how to trade earnings, you'll be losing money most of the time. I tell you that I did it before. So we created 2 strategies that are unique for earnings play, right? So you can you can see it, and it has much lower risk than the one that you normally do. And then we cover psychology and risk management. It's very important when you trade options. The option itself is a leverage tool, right? So you need to make sure that you don't overtrade, right? You manage your risk well to protect you, right? So we cover a lot of psychology when you're wrong, when you lose money on the trade, what do you need to do? What are the risk management things that you need to do? Yeah, we cover a lot more on this. This is very important, I can tell you. Then comes to other option management techniques like rolling like upgrading the trade, like the one I show you many trade on Meta, on GLD, I show you, right? Roll many times. How do you roll? When do you roll? And what strike price you roll to? What DTE, what time frame you need to roll to, right? What is the one metric you need to look into before you make a decision where you should roll or not, right? So is that actually value? Is that like delta? What is it? So we cover all of this in the rolling options. And then there are, because we know that people are using different trading platforms, so we cover the chatting broker platform using 3 big brokers right now, Basic Trade, Interactive Brokers, and of course we use a lot of example on Thinkorswim as well. Now recently I also added a video on how to enhance your return when you are sitting on cash, right? Because when you're sitting on cash, waiting for the right opportunity to pound the table, how do you enhance your return on cash? So the favorite one is I park it in the USD bills, which right now is still earning like 3.5%, which is not too bad, right? But in the videos I explain in detail on how to buy USD bills, what are the things you need to consider, yeah? And then we do have bonus strategies as well for this level 2, which cover back ratio and the collar, which is very interesting one as well. Now, people who are especially new trader, commonly they have some fears when they trade, right? So some of them say, okay, what if I'm a total newbie? What should I do? What if I fail, right? This is too complex for me. I'm very slow and I'm not good at math. I'm very afraid to start. The whole thing looks so complex to me. What if my trade is losing money, right? So a lot of things that you will be worried if you're a new trader. So as Adam said in the morning, when you learn something new, you always feel things are very difficult, right? When you learn driving, you also need to pay attention to many things, left, take a look at the back end, go look at the rear mirror, all the things that you need to take care of when you're on the road, and you will be very scared when you first drive for the first time, right? So when you do everything for the first time, everything looks very difficult. Especially now you have the whole community helping you. I tell you, that's an easier way for you to get on board and master your skill. And don't worry, we are there to guide you to hone your hands and make sure you are on the right journey, right? That's why we designed this system with the full process to help you, right? Starting with the full year mentorship, right? You have Adam, you have me, you have YY, and we have other coaches as well to help you. So starting with completely new thing, right? So YY have onboarding workshop every 2 months. So we have this live webinar to guide you through the new trader on how to set up your trading account, how to place the first order, how to use the tool, how to set up your charts, right? So he has all these basic things to make sure you get the right start for your journey, right? And then every month we do have this one deep dive session. So YY or me, and then other coaches as well, but mostly YY and myself, we do monthly deep dive session with you, right? Either we focus on one strategy and do a deep dive on it, but more importantly, we address all the questions, right? Because when you start learning, you have a lot of questions. You don't know where to ask. You could ask in the Discord channel, but then you want to ask me directly. Then you can come to the webinar and ask me and YY directly, right? So we have this one every month. This is the best. I do the monthly e-gathering, right? Every month, right? Typically the last Monday of the month. I think with the exception of December. December is like holiday, but we do it every other month, right? Here, not only you see me providing the market updates, but importantly, I show you how to search for new trades, right? Home setup, thought process analysis, pro and cons, why I enter the trade. Not only enter the trade, but I will follow through, including preparing it, rolling it, adjusting it, and until the trades are closed, right? So I have the full system for those trades, and I use my real account, real money. So if anything happens, I get hurt first, right? So I need to be very careful. I need to be very careful. And the best thing is, you can contribute this as well. You can send in your trade ideas. You can send in your trade ideas, and if your trade ideas are good enough, I can use that and enter with my money, right? And you can also send in a topic. You want to suggest any topics for me to cover or answer you during the e-gathering. You have me answer it live on that day also. Yeah. You also have a dedicated option Discord channels, right? When you can discuss trade ideas with your fellow traders. You can ask coaches on the trade setup, on their opinions, ask questions directly to me, to Adam, to other coaches, and then you will receive our answers almost like 24/7, right? Of course, when you are sleeping, we cannot answer you, but we are there, right? So again, the whole hand-holding system, not just one-off offer, right? That's what we here to help. And then Adam will do the quarterly psychology session where he explains, make sure you prepare mentally for your trade as you upgrade your skills, right? So all of this, right? I just tell you, people has been benefiting a lot from the Wave Rider for those who have signed up for us. Just show you a few testimonial. So like Lucio sent us, so he posted on the Discord channel. He said, my first year option trade learning experience with my dedicated small account. So for those of you who have small account, don't worry, we have a lot of small account traders in the community here, right? So he said I did mistake, words was not respecting rules of cutting loss, and hope in vain recovery of a couple of the trades, and then not bad. He made 42%, 44%, 43% for the first year of trading. He said first year, right? So pretty good for a small account trader and for first year of trading as well, right? Andrew also sent a note on the Discord channel thanking Adam, Bang and the team. Year-to-date result just hit 250K. Wow. From stock investing and options. And so Andrew has some key milestones. So he posted December 24, right? That's where he recovered on the losses after 12 years of playing around. So apparently he tried and error before, and then when he joined this community, he recovered on the losses last December. And then in May this year, he hit the first $100,000 profit mark. So he shared the detail in this post. So if you want to know the detail, he posted there as well. And then now recently he posted another message here reporting another milestone, $250,000 that he hit, and 55.5% year to date. Very, very good. Yeah. Kumit, another members there, he say option striker level 2 and option shell, which is like level 1. Both are very impressive course, right? And he talked a lot about this. And Kat also say, I enrolled your class 1 year ago, but I never do anything about it until May. Now my portfolio is up 23%, right? Keegan send a post there, say today I have realized a profit of 1224, I think $1,224. That's realized profit and unrealized profit of 2003, right? From NVLs and stuff like that, right? This is the best investment I have made for myself by attending your courses, right? I strongly encourage those who have not enrolled for your course to sign up. Right? So very strong testimonial for those who have signed up and made money from it, right? Yan Kunang, this year has been an exciting journey in option trading, full of learnings, gaining confidence, grateful for guidance from mentors, Adam Bang YY, support from the community. strategies that I use. I struggle sometimes, but I above the S&P 500. Look forward to closing the year strong and carrying momentum to next, right? So this is very good testimonial from members there. Now, TK sent us a long note here, and let me just highlight a few lines. So TK say, then came Retail Rebellion, which is last mid-year event. Remember Retail Rebellion 2025 in July, where I was introduced to option trading. I was intrigued and signed up. So TK signed up just a few months ago. For the next month, I'm immersed myself in online videos daily. Honestly, I think I heard Master Bang's voice more than my voice during that period. I placed my first options trade in August, and now 3 months in, I like to share my result, not to brag, but to validate the teachings and hopefully inspire those who might be in the same shoes I was in. And he shared this one, and if I have to bring this one in a bigger font, you can see it, right? So he showed that he has realized profit of 7,195, right? That realized profit. Now unrealized profit is 2004, sorry, 4,002. So combined, that is like 11,000 plus, right? So that's what he shared, not just learning, but earning at the same time, right? So that's a very good one. Again, lots of testimonials that people send in, and we're really thankful for it. Again, for the option Wave Rider mentorship, it includes, first of all, the level 1 and level 2 courses with 26 powerful strategies out there, right? Quick reference guides, email support from coaches, and you have online mentorship 1 year, right? Now, this online mentorship includes what? Monthly e-gathering, live chat hunt with me, right? I talk about that. And then we have strategy deep dive webinars, either with YY, the coaches, or myself. I think I do every 3 months. And then we have discussion group on the Discord where we ask questions on around the clock. And we have a quarterly psychology class with Adam. And you have the onboarding workshop for beginners with YY every 2 months if you are new, right? The total price, the whole package, the mentorship program is worth, retail price we offer is $2,997, right? Now, if you enroll today, we have a special offer, 50% off, right? Today, you know, this is the biggest sales in the year, the black market here. We always have the best price in this event, where we offer 50% off for this option Wave Rider membership program. Now, it costs you only $1,498, right? Now, I will show you the QR code later on for you to sign up. I just explain a little bit in detail after this, right? Before I show you, yeah. If you enter it today, remember you have bonus session, bonus months as well. You have 2 months extra. So you're not getting only 12 months, now you have total 14 months. And you can get the login instantly after you sign up. It just takes a few good trades for you to make back your mentorship fee. So 1,490 something there. I tell you, many people say it, and I can show you their testimonial as well. You can easily make back the fee in a matter of few weeks or maybe a month or something, right? So let's see. Some people saying this one. So Asanka saying, I'm pleased to let you know that my portfolio has grown 28% in the last 7 weeks, purely from option trading, which helped me cover on the cost fee many times over in the 7 weeks, right? We have Daniel who posts the message here. My account has turned from negative 7.8K realized loss to a positive 6.5K realized gain within 3 months with $17,000 unrealized gain. So not only 6.5, but plus 17 unrealized, meaning the trade has not been closed yet in the position. I have learned from you, Master Bang. What I learned from you, Master Bang, from the courses and the e-gathering is completely game changer, right? A completely game changer here. I can be a testimony that the investment for these courses are paid back within a month. So again, many people say the same thing. Now, not a guarantee, but I just show you what people have written to us, and it just show you those a few examples here. Delightful Kiwi, I think it's a lady. I'm sorry if I got it wrong. Okay, very helpful, very active members in the Discord channel, helping a lot of newbies who new, right? So Delightful Kiwi explained to other people. I mean, one of the members who say, I just want to do one strategy, which is classic people, right? So she said that even if you are not interested in other option strategies, the lesson cover things how to set up IDKR platform, assignment, Greeks, cash flow wheel, rolling options, all of which be very useful if you are only selling classic put, right? And no questions in Discord can be asked. Monthly webinars also share the view of the market, and this is very foundational, right? After that, you can go ahead, watch YouTube, whatever. Now, how about this? You join Bang's Black Friday presentation, which is this one, the one is going on right now. Why don't you join Bang's Black Friday presentation? Check the price of the Wave Rider course, the one I showed you earlier, level 1, level 2, and mentorship. Remember, and decide. Okay, check that one out and decide. I'm sure you will be able to recover the cost fees within a month, right? And then she also marked the full 2025. Another member can tell you that he makes $2,000 a month within 30K capital just selling classic. So again, this is what members talk about, right? So it's not like other we just created lots of similar testimonial that people posted there. CMK, another one posted. I think he just sent it like a few weeks ago, right? So end of November, end of October here. So CMK also said, me too. I joined the Wave Rider class in August, right? Last August, and been placing a few monthly likes option. The cost fee has been fully recovered, right? Just a few months, right? And then I think he made 1,006 here and 2,005 here, so 4,000 in total, right? Both realized and unrealized profits, right? So before joining lesson, I have no idea what's delta, what the theta, what's the volatility, right? So he explained that he's completely newbie and joined us just a few months ago and get the cost fee payback in a matter of a few weeks, right? And he also said that Bang doesn't just teach the textbook theory, he walks the talk, right? Because I always put my real money at risk along the way, right? So you see, I never use paper money. I use my real money to trade. Josh, another member, say, Master Bang sharing my real, okay, hi Master Bang, sharing my realized profit, early 8K for August 25, right? And then for being an inspiration to myself and others, trading has indeed taught me to be comfortable with uncertainty at on times. Taught me being comfortable with uncertainty at on times. Right? I have also signed up for OTP during the Retail Rebellions event to acquire more knowledge and on diagonals and calendars to learn more on your thoughts process. So I will talk about OTP later in the next few slides. So very good profit by Josh. All right, so if people have a lot of concern, but I tell you, we have the full system designed to help you, right? What if I want to stay consistently updated on option market outlooks without spending hours for researching, right? So what if you want me to do all the hard work for you, right? Showing you the trade, from the entry to adjustments, rolling until it goes, right? what if you want that? Well, we have the OTP, Option Statics Playbook. This is what service I'm providing, where you see me trade live. And for those who are in the community, you know I'm very active. I'm very active. I have trades either rolling, entering, closing all the time. Every day I have something. I remember in the past, like 1 year, I hardly have a day where I have no action. I think maybe I have 1 or 2 days without any action. The rest of the day, you see, I'm very active. I'm doing all kinds of trades, right? So you don't have to do all the trades the same way I did, right? You can just pick and choose the one you feel good about, and then again, like you come to my restaurant and you just pick and choose the food you want to eat. I serve you the home set of buffets with many different dishes. You don't need to eat all of them. You just pick and choose to eat the one you like the most, right? And that's where you see me in action, right? So first of all, OTP includes the monthly webinar, right? Like the e-gathering, but this one also I have a dedicated OTP webinar at least once a month, right? Where I go through many things. I review the market updates. I go through some of the trades that I have closed, and then I go through all the trades that are still open, and I also share the new trades idea that I'm putting on my watch list, or I can enter on the same day, right? On the same webinar, right? So that's the one. But then you see me sending you notification all the time and with the proper setup. So I will send it in 2 times. First, the fast crash, where I send very fast notification, I enter this, I enter that, and some reason why I'm doing it. And the day after, when the market closes, I will send a formal notification, right? So you have all the records there with the screenshot of the trade. It's very detailed and very transparent, right? So every time I take action, rolling, closing, or entering new trade, you have it all, right? And not just about that. You know, I promise at least I have the webinar live once a month, right? In reality, I often do a lot more than I promise, right? So for example, OTP by design, I will share with you 2 trades a month. But I never done 2 trades only. I mean, you look at the typical month, I normally have a lot more, right? 10 trades, maybe 12, maybe 15 trades a month. That's the new trades. Now, on top, I do have rollings as well. So rolling, you have many rolls, and then you have closing as well. So a lot of actions in between. So that's something I always do more than my promise. Another one, I promise to have at least once a month webinar. Reality is I do it every week. I think occasionally, if I am not well, then I skip. But most of the time, I do my best to keep weekly webinar. Now, not a promise. The promise is once a month, but those of you who are in the community, you know, I always want to do more than my promise, right? So I do like almost like every week now. Now, people talk about my OTP, right? So John say, I just did my first renewal for OTP. According to my trade log, I made $11,000 on my OTP account of around 45 to 50K. Very good return. Mahmoud said, Adam Bang saying thanks is simply not enough for what you have done. Great community. You transformed my account from being a major loser to almost 2 years into profitable one in less than a year, right? Into profitable one in less than a year with 27.5% year-to-date gain, right? And then he explained that he got some big loss on SNCI, and over 2 years he lost nearly 80K, and then was ready to give up, but everything changed when he began to following UIP from Adam and then OTP from me in January, and it truly turned his life around. So cannot thanks enough, right? So good journey people has gone through from turning losses into winners by having a right mentorship program. So let me show you one example. This is a real trade. Some example of a real trade that I did. This is OTP, and you can see here OTP. It has OTP. I use OTP account, right? This is on OTP, right? So this is a typical C2D trade that I use, right? So this is the Apple trade. I entered it sometime early June this year. And you can see here, I don't know if you can see, so when the supply is at about 200, Apple at 200, I enter a calendar spread at 200, right? Buy a call at 200, sell a call at 200. And I did the same thing as I did with other trade, right? So I roll it here, I roll it up. So this one I upgraded my trade to D, and then when the supply keep going higher, I upgraded my trade again as well. Then the supply pulled back, it reduced my profit, but eventually the supply rallies, and then I keep upgrading my trade and exited the trade. So at the end, my original short on 200, I upgraded it to 225. When I exited the trade, I exited as a D trade, and the trade has turned very profitable, right? So I closed the trade at a profit of 2,880. And for this trade at entry, I used capital of 2,752. So this trade is a good trade. So I generated more than 100% return on investment, right? So that is a trade. Now, Apple's share price continue to go up after I exited the trade, right? I could have made more than that, but hey, I'm happy with 100% return on investment, right? So again, in trading, you just need to be disciplined. Yes, sometimes you just leave some money on the table, but it's fine. It's a discipline you need to take, right? Sometimes you become too greedy and the trade can turn into a loss as well. So be careful. Just be disciplined. Yeah? So that is a good C2D trade that I upgraded for Apple. Another trade, this is also C2D trade on Celsius Holdings, CELH, right? I entered the trade somewhere here in the middle of May as a calendar spread 37.5, right? Also OTP trade, and I keep upgrading my trade when the supply goes up, right? So this is a very good trade. So right at the first rolling, I already rolled it up because the supply went up straight after I entered the trade. So I upgraded the trade from 37.5 to 39, and to 40.5, 41.5 to 42.5, 42.5, and 43.5. So that's where I exited the trade. And at the close, I got a profit of 1,652. Translating into 78.5% return on investment. So you see, C2D could be very powerful. Even when I was wrong, right, with the meta trade, when I was waiting for a long time, I go and trade GLD, or when the supply moves up right after I enter the trade, I could upgrade the trade to D and right on the uptrend and make a good profit, right? So it's very powerful in many different price movement scenario. Yeah, I don't want to bore you another one. This one also another trade, but let me just skip it. Okay. Now again, not just the Wave Rider mentorship program and option tactic playbook OTP. This is a very special deal. We do it for the first time, right? We bundle these two together. Last year, if you notice, we don't have this bundle. But this year, we have this bundle offer at a very good discount. When you take the option Wave Rider mentorship program, which is the course, right? When you learn from beginning, and the playbook, the OTP, where you see me, training, and then that will help cut your learning curve, right? So you can learn much faster, right? So the first one is like, you learn how to cook. Yeah. The second one, you come to my restaurant, see me cooking, and serve you the food, and you just pick and choose the food you want to eat, right? If you want to do both at the same time, you can learn how to cook faster. Yeah. All right, so just to summarize the whole offer here, option iron shell level 1 and striker level 2 have 26 powerful option strategies. And we have a quick reference guide, we have email support, we have mentorship for 1 year, where you see me trade live on a monthly basis. We have deep dive every month. We have a trader group in Discord channel where you can ask questions 24 hours a day. You have a psychology class with Adam every quarter, and you have a workshop for beginners with YY every 2 months. Right? So with that one will be offered at 2,997 before the discount. Right? And then now if you bundle with the OTP option tactics playbook here, you have what you have 12-month webinar with me. You have the notification from me. You have trackers that I keep track on the trade and it's visible to everyone. You have the watch list, the trade that are on my watch list, right? And that normally we offer to the public at 2005, right? Now, if you do both at the same time, the retail price is 5,497, so $5,497. But today, again, very special day where we slash the price significantly, right? 45% off. You get both at the same time, right? The course and the playbook at the same time at 2,997. Yeah. And again, we have some extra bonus for those who sign up, right? If you sign up now, you have extra 2 months. Not only you get 12 months, now you get extra 2 months. So total 14 months. You have access to Wave Rider 14 months right at the time you sign up. So that one you get access instantly. Now the playbook will start for you who sign up right now, will start for you in January 2026. Why? Because we prefer you to spend some time to learn first. You have access to the course to learn it first, and then you come to my restaurant, you see me cooking, and then make sense, so you see it, right? I don't want you have like you completely newbie and you come, and then you may not benefit, right? So we will delay the 14 months for you, only start in January, but will last 14 months. So the admin will tell you the detail. But my understanding is, so then you don't lose the benefit, right? So you start later in January, but that still lasts for 14 months, right? So then you have an extra benefit of learning and then practicing for the 14 months also. All right, so here's the offers. You can choose to go with the first one, which is the cost, right? Or you can go with the bundle. So the first one again is now offer you at 1,498. Yeah, and the second one is offer both cost and playbook bundle is now offered to you at 2,997. Yeah, I think this is the best deal that we ever have, right, in the year. And then I will show you the chart later on in case you miss the QR code. The special offer, as I said, you have extra 2 months for you, 14 months for the Wave Riders and 14 months for the playbook, right, at the same time, and that's worth extra money for you there. All right, so the next one I will show you my top 3 trading ideas using C2D. But let's just take a quick break, maybe 5 minutes, everyone. Maybe 3 minutes. You just want to get some coffee, some water, and then we come back after 3 minutes. I leave this QR code on the screen in case you want to take a look at the offers, and then I come back in 3 minutes. All right, everyone, I hope you can hear me back. Everyone, you can hear me, right? Good, thanks, Jeff. Good. All right, so let me continue. I think we are on time. Let me just, I think we need another maybe 30 minutes or 45 minutes at max, and then we can close the day. But okay, lots of things going up here. Okay, first of all, I want to go through some of the trade ideas that I have in mind, and I'm preparing for the Wednesday as well. And today is Sunday, so I cannot trade today, but I could potentially use these trade ideas on Wednesday as well. But I need to check back on Wednesday when the market conditions, the setup for the trade, if they are still valid, then I could potentially enter these trades as well. But I could come up with a new trade as well if the trade I'm preparing here are no longer valid. All right. What are some 3 trade ideas I'm thinking to use C2D? And then I will answer Q&A later on after this. First one, as I say, Amazon, right? The one I use in the example for today. The setup looks pretty decent for me. I like the setup. I can go back to the Amazon here, and if you look at the weekly chart here, you look very clear. It's high highs and high low, right? It's very clear uptrend, and then now dipping on the uptrend and near the support level. So it could be a decent entry point here. Again, calendar spread can protect you pretty well on the downside, not significantly, but if the supply drops like 10 points, I think the trade should still be okay, right? So in this case, I could enter the trade right here, and if the price continues to drop, well, at least I have some protection on the downside. If it drops too much, the trade could hit my stop loss. Yeah, so that's part of the plan. But there's a good chance that the supply will bounce, as it used to do in the past. Every time it hits the support level, then I could upgrade my trade from C2D. Okay, so this is a good stop. And if I enter the trade, I use the same construct I show you. Buy February 220, sell 220, expiring 2 weeks time, and that trade would have a decent profit zone. Let me show you the profit zone again. So if I do both together here, then I have this trade, right? What is the break-even point? Let me show you the break-even point for the trade again. So right now the stop price is about here 220 here, and the stop price has a break-even point between 211 and 231. So that means if the stop price drops about 10 points, that my trade would still be okay, or 9 points, it still be okay, still within the profit zone. If it goes up by 11 points, it would still be within the profit zone of the trade, right, by the expiration. Right, so in the next 2 weeks, if the supply moves somewhere in the middle, then this will be best for the trade. Now, the moment the supply starts to rally, then I need to upgrade this trade to a diagonal spread, which have this kind of profile, no risk on the upside, right? So that's the plan that I'm having. And this trade, what is the current time decay value for the trade? Well, if the supply stay right here, every day passes, this trade will bring me about $13 time decay value, right? So as I say, this trade has a net positive theta of net positive time decay benefit. So I'm paid to wait, right? So decent protection on the downside, and then I need to be nimble enough to upgrade my trade to D when the supply starts to rally. So that is a one good candidate I'm considering, and the trade combined uses only $1,173 if I do both legs combined, right? So then not a big capital for a trade like this one, right? So that is one. What is the second trade? And second trade I need to analyze a little bit more because it's a new trade. So the second candidate that I'm thinking of doing is SPY, which is S&P 500 ETF. Right, so let me show the chart of SPY. So you know SPY has retraced over the past few sections, and this is now near the support level right here. Let me zoom it. Let me zoom this one. Right, so it has some support at around 653. Last time it dipped to that level and retested it, and then last week it retested it and bounced off it. Right, so that is a weekly candles. If you go with the daily, you see the same thing. Right, daily candle is even clearer. So it's a very strong flush down bar, and then retested it on Thursday. And then on Friday, it bounced off it again. So it looks like this is a very strong support. I'm not sure if this one is ready to rally yet, but I think it has a good chance that S&P 500 could bounce from here. And from the stochastic, which is a momentum standpoint, this stock is oversold, right? It's oversold, then it has a good chance of rebounding from here. So if you look at the past few times, when it hit to the oversold regions, right here, it bounced right back up. It bounced right back up. And the last one before that one was sometime in April, right? In August. In August, you see it near the oversold, and then it rebounded, right? Again, sometime in June, it's also hit near the oversold, and it's also rally. So every time it hits near the oversold or inside the oversold, you see there is a good rebound following. Yeah. And if you go further, let me show you even further, like in April with the tariff, right, Liberation Day, it also dipped into the oversold, and there was a very quick recovery. So I'm betting like this is near the bottom. I'm not sure it's bottom already, but near the bottom, near the support, very oversold. And based on the historical pattern here, every time it hits oversold, it rebounded, right? So then I could lean forward and enter a C trade right here. Again, if I'm wrong, I still can get some protection on the short call, so I can be wrong within like 10 points, 20 points, right? But if I'm right, I can immediately upgrade my trade when the supply starts to rally. So this is a very good trade that or candidate I'm thinking. Now the way to trade, you can use, to make it simple, right? You can use the same construct, right? You can go to February and you buy near at the money. So near at the money is like 660, right? You buy 660. Expiring in 90 days. You can choose a longer DT if you want, like 6 months. It's okay. This is 3 months, but you go 6 months, 9 months is okay also, right? But the further you go out in time, more you need to use more capital. But then that long trade would have more time for you to roll. Meaning you can lease your house on a longer term, and then you can do Airbnb for more rounds, right? So you can do that. So just keep it simple. You can just buy a call expiring in 3 months, near at the money, 360, 660 here. And I can do the same thing. Sell 2 weeks expiry, collect at 660 also, collecting $10 back. Right, so then instead of paying 2,600, now I get the 1,000 back. So my trade net cost is only 1,600. Right, so my cost, the max loss for the trade is only the max loss for my trade is only 1,680. So this is the max loss for the trade. Both sides, I cannot lose more than that. I cannot lose more than $1,680 for this trade. Right, and this trade have the break-even points or profit zone between 643, which is about 17 points below the current supply. So if supply drops 17 points, that is my my break-even point. Right, so I have some cushion to the downside by 17 points or 16 points. On the upside, I also have some 20 points. Right, 680. That's where my break-even is. So from 660 to 680, that's 20 points up. So I have a decent room for my trade to maneuver. Right, if it moves too much up or too much down, it will get into the loss zone, which is below here or beyond here. Right, but in any worst case scenario, my max loss is 1,600. That's it, 1,680. I cannot lose more than that. Max profit is about $800, and you can do the math. Right, 800 divided by 1,680. 800 divided by 1,680. 46%. That's 47%. Right, so that is very good return on investment. And the trade will expire on this on 5th. Yeah, so this trade has about 45% probability of winning. every day when the stock price stays where it is right now, the trade will bring me some theta, which is a time decay value at about $25 a day. Very good. So if the stock price doesn't go anywhere, every day passes, it brings me $25 a day, and that 25 will accelerate, right, as the time passes. So very decent trade that I'm looking at. I hope S&P 500 doesn't go up so much between now and Wednesday when I go enter the trade, because if it starts to move up very fast, then I will miss the boat. I will miss the boat. Right. So then let me continue with that. So it could be a good candidate. And then the third one that I'm going to consider is Accenture, right? So for those of you who attended Austin webinar yesterday, he happened to also keep Accenture in his watch list, right? So he's also looking at the chart and he likes the setup. So I think it's within his palm structure that he's looking at. Now, I just happened to prepare this trade before I got to know what he said yesterday, right? So I did not know he also put the ACN in his watch list. But I tell you the reason why I like to like the setup of ACN here, and it's pretty much in line with what I prefer to have for the C trade, right? So ACN, if you look at the chart, yes, it looks like a bearish chart with all moving averages sloping down, right? But over the past 3 months or so, you look at the past 3 months, what does it look like? It goes sideways, right? It's consolidating, right? Consolidating, dropping sideways over the past 3 months. That's quite a long time for the trade to consolidate. I think it's just a matter of time. Very soon the supply will start moving very sharply one way or the other. I bet it will move up from here. And if you look at the longer time frame with weekly chart, you can see that even go 5 years from 5 years ago, this 243 is not like the support for the recent recent price movement, but you look back many years ago, it used to be a swing low as well. So it looks like this is a very good support, and it have held on this support for a long time now. So I think this is a chart that I think it's ready to rally, right? And so I just hope that by Wednesday when I do the real trade, this stock price has not rally up, right? So I hope it's still like within the range. And I do have a trade on ACM for my OTP members as well, and it's very profitable as well. Even if when the supply went sideways like this, the trade is very profitable. And one of the reasons why I like this trade is because the short-dated option premium from the ACM is very good. It's like when you rent the house to the Airbnb tenants, and they're willing to pay you a very high rent. This is one of the stuff that you can collect a very high rent for the premium on a weekly or 2 weekly basis, right? So I like this one. I've been trading this one, I know, and I like this setup a lot. So I hope the supply doesn't rally before I could enter it on Wednesday. Now, let me move on. Again, this is just give you my thought process on a very quick note, and I will do a lot of deep dive on the trade on Wednesday when the market, with the real data, with the real condition, the timing, the premium, everything will change by Wednesday. So even if I show you the trade today, it will change on Wednesday anyway. So I will spend a lot more time on Wednesday to analyze the trade using the real time data, right? So today, just a very, from the concept side, but it's why I'm entering the trade like that. Now, make the right choice now. The power to grow your wealth is in your hands. I show you many members continue to post very powerful testimonial. Now, we did not ask them to write, they just voluntarily write whatever they want, right? And one of them is Aaron, right? Aaron wrote to Nadam saying, and me saying, thanks for the training. This has been life-changing. Now I have monthly income from option trading. I wanted to hit $1 million by the end of next year, but I hit it today. So this one, he sent us about 3 weeks ago. So Aaron posted this one 3 weeks ago on the channels, and he hit the $1 million value of his account earlier than he expected, right? And then for this year alone, he made $345,000, 52.6% return for this year alone. Very good result by Aaron. This is a long note, but let me just highlight a few. Now, we occasionally have members like Josh, who not only helping other members in community, together with the coaches, he also benefited from other senior members in the group. And so he posted this one, and he tagged myself, so Bang, Warren, Suyato, and Asanka. So Warren, Suyato, and Asanka are more experienced traders in the group, and they are super helpful. They are super helpful, and they answer all questions like voluntarily, right? We did not more than we expected. So they just feel that because they benefited from the community, they willing to help. And I just like hats off to all of them for helping. So Josh wrote to all of us here, expressed the appreciation, and he explained the journey he has been through. Like in this October, he said choppy. People tend to reflect their journey and share it in the community. Not just sharing the journey, but he also summed up on the learnings that he experienced, right? Very good learnings that he summarized it in a very nice way, so people can look into it and learn from it. Because that's the best way to learn, right? Learn from other people's real experience. Of course, he has done very good job. He earned very good profit, but more importantly, he's very helpful. He's also selfishly, share on the learnings with the whole community as well. So I really appreciate, and you see this kinds of supportive community, you cannot find anywhere else, right? This is something that I find unique here in the Premier Profits. We have members like Toby, like hit big trade, and he say one of the best decisions I've made is to buy on the courses from Adam back in 2019. I subscribe OTP soon. Again, Kong said I beat the market for the first time, right? So very good testimonial as well. Senshong, this one I don't want to bore you because this one I think Adam shared with you this morning as well. Senshong is one of the traders who make tremendous return. I think Cheryl also, Adam have shared, so let's just skip it, but she's also a very good trader, making like 60%, right? So I don't want, and Suren, I think Suren also, one of a very active member, very helpful member. Adam also talked about this one, so I don't want to repeat what Adam have said, but one of the best traders that we have in the community there, very good returns as well. Now, Vinlai, this is something that I find very helpful as well. So Vinlai wrote, from someone who knew almost nothing about the world of investing and trading, I came across Beat the Market event last year. Beat the Market is a like mid-year event, right? And blown away, right? I'm pleased to share that I have achieved nearly 75% profit for the past 1 year. So 1 year, 75% is insane, right? So new members, right? So he wrote to me, Adam and YY. Oh no, it's Hausen, right? So Adam, me, and Hausen. So key points, right? So not just sharing the journey, the result, but also sum up some of the areas of strength that the Premier Profits provide, right? Premier Profits community provide. High quality of knowledge, content to learn from, extremely knowledgeable and experienced Sufus, master, right? Mentors and coaches to learn from. Very active community of Premier Profit students in the Discord channels have become my daily source of knowledge. and chicken soup in life, right? So many things. So those are the very powerful testimonial. Now, talking about OTP, right? You see a lot of people also wrote in and they feel very grateful and very beneficial about the OTP service that we have, right? JP is fantastic because I now have a webinar almost every week, right? So he wrote a note saying, this was fantastic webinar today. Yeah, Simon also, yeah, really informative, hearing you reasoning behind actions. Katie also, I on say, agree with JP and Simon. Fantastic and informative webinar, much appreciated. Evelyn also say, thanks man for the webinar. It's helped me really understand when to use calendar spread strategy and why rolling short call up in the money can be a good choice, right? So, and then finally, one Viet here also say, thanks Sifu for great webinar yesterday. Thanks to the session like this, I understand better how you think when you roll and when trading options. That helps me a lot. Look forward to, right? JP again also wrote a longer note thanking for the webinar that I deliver. And we talked a lot of things about it, right? And then GMGS also say, absolutely agree. The thought process of the master options trader is indeed very helpful, very insightful. Thanks, Park Bang, right? Pravin also say, thanks Sifu for the learning curve from webinars and give us more insight on option trading. Thank you very much for the teaching, which is much appreciated. And Sui also say the same thing, appreciate Mastermind commitment to adding value to OTP, worth every penny, right? So people saying it, right? Okay, so I have only 2 slides left, right? What are we going to do with these 2 slides? The first slide, it's a story, right? I know this week is a holiday week. Folks are preparing to gather in the dinner table soon for their Thanksgiving celebration, especially folks in the US. I've been there, my mom and my sister and my brothers are there. One year, I think 2-3 years ago, I was there, and I have the black market life from the US. So I know the atmosphere, I know the environment. I love the time when people gather, having fun, celebrating, and thanks for the full year, right? So it's very important time where we reflect the year and then look ahead, right? But the reason why I'm putting up this slide is a story. Yeah. And this story just happened yesterday. You know, yesterday after I finished watching the webinar from Austin, right? This is late yesterday, and my family was waiting for me, and we got together. We ordered a Grab taxi. Grab is like Uber service in other countries, so we ordered a Grab taxi. So we wanted to go to a restaurant in the downtown where we have a family dinner, kind of celebrating Thanksgiving. On the way, we got an accident. So what happened was that our car, this is a taxi that we took, right? And I tell you, the driver is sitting here in this side, and I was here. I was right here in this side. So our car was cruising in the tunnel, we're going to city, the Central Express Highway, something like one of the main road under the tunnel. And apparently I noticed that the driver's maybe a little bit sleepy. So when the road separated for, like you see, this is exit to one of the road, and this is the main road. He failed to roll the wheel on time. So I suddenly see this road divider going straight to my face. You see, because I'm sitting in this side, right? And then we are driving here, and my side, I'm sitting in the front. I'm sitting in the front seat. My family's members are behind me, and I can see the road divider going straight to me. For a split second, I shouted. I said, "Watch out!" And the driver kind of woke up at that point in time, and he pulled the handbrake. Too late, right? The car hit the road divider. Boom! And the car just go like turn 90 degrees like that. You see it. Well, you can imagine that my kids and my wife phone and their glasses like all throw up to the front. When people sitting in the back, everything went to in the top mirror here. And my earphone also went out, my glass also went out, my phone also went out, and suddenly all the phone dial emergency. I don't know what happened in the iPhone, is very smart. When you see a car crash like that, the phone ultimately detected and they call emergency, right? And for a second, we thought that we were gone, right? But after we checked, everyone seems to be okay. Wow, we have a relief. I can tell you, this is the bless, right? This is a Thanksgiving bless that I have for my family. The God still loves me, and He wants me to stay here with you today. So, okay, we talk enough money, right? There are things that is more important than money. Just keep in mind. Okay, sorry. So, Adam's kind enough. He called me because I told him, because I know that I have a webinar today. I told him I got an accident. And so he called me. He offered that, hey, I can go and pick you up and your family, make sure your family is okay. But I told him that the police did not allow any car to stop by because they don't want to jam the traffic. But I tell you, with this kind of accident, right, straight to the road divider like that, and all of us survive. No injury. There has to be a miracle happening. Okay? And that is my last word to you. Okay? Cherish your moment. Right? Money is one thing. Learn the best, learn the most, live the most of your life. You never know when it will end. Okay? All right, so that's it. That's all I have for you. And again, I just flip back this one again. Sorry, back to the money again. But I just want to tell you that I'm still here, safe. I don't know. We need to do some medical checkup tomorrow to see if there's anything inside. But everyone seems to be okay, right? For now, and we are all safe. And looks like the boss still want me to be here with you. All right, so now I'm leaving this one here, but I will answer all the questions you post, and the coach forwarded to me via the Google Doc here. Let me just open and answer them. Okay. Now it's almost 5 p.m. So maximum 20 minutes I will cover it because I have 9 questions here forwarded to me. I assume the rest have been addressed by the coaches. Right. So first one from Vani, right? Vani Saki. Hi, Bang. Vani here, WA student, so Well Academy student. What is your favorite strategies? How much is the win rate in it? What strategy would you use? Would you suggest for beginners? My favorite strategies are the calendar turn diagonal spread C2D. That is one. Second, boom bang color, and the traditional DS hammer, right? And the third one is fourth is crouching boom. Crouching boom is one of the very powerful trade that you can use when you are bullish on the price as well. So those are the key ones: C2D, diagonal spread, boom bang color, and crouching boom. And normally they have more than 50% chance of winning, and you use smaller capital, and then you can boost your return on investment significantly. Second question from Han Kwan: seems like diagonal spread is more powerful than calendar spread. More powerful means have more headroom for upside. Why don't we directly go to the trade with diagonal spread when we feel that the stock is going sideways or bullish? Now, if you think the stock price is going sideways, it is best to enter as a calendar spread because if you're wrong, that calendar spread can protect you on the downside very well. But if you enter a diagonal spread is a bullish trade. It has very little error, room for error, right? So if the stock price drops a lot, it can hurt your trade a lot. But if you are really bullish on the stock, yes. If you're bullish on the stock, directly enter the trade with a diagonal spread. That is right. The third question from Wei Ming: how do you decide the strike difference when you convert to a D trade, meaning the sell call? So the rule of thumb, the general rule of thumb is you roll it to the strike price where you think the stock price will go to. If you think that the stock price will go up by like $10, roll it up $10, right? That is the optimal profit point, the top of the triangle, right? So that's a general rule. If you think the stock price will go higher, roll it higher. So that is the general rule. Yeah. Question number 4 from Evelyn: before expiry, at when and what situation you decide to roll the trade? Sorry, I'm lost. Right? Again, C trade, the intent is to protect your downside in case you're wrong, right? And then if the stock goes sideways, you can collect rents on the way, and then immediately roll your upgrade your trade to D. Now you say, in what situation you want to roll? Whenever you think the stock price starts to rally, whenever you think the stock price starts to rally, roll it immediately. The sooner the better, right? So that is the technique. Roll it up as soon as you think the stock price will go up, as soon as possible. Because if you roll it too late, that will be too expensive for the rolling. Number 5 from Ramesh: what happens if the stock price goes very high and your shotgun goes to the loss? Now it happens occasionally for my trade, right? I enter a calendar spread expecting the stock price to go sideways for a while, but then right after I enter the trade, the stock price already went up, right? And even I roll the shotgun up, but it's not fast enough. The stock price goes even higher. So in that situation, the trade will be stalled. I call it like stall. It's like when you drive a car and you press the accelerator too fast. Your car will be stalled like this. It won't be able to speed up because you press it too fast, right? So in the case of the trade being stalled, if you're okay to roll it up further, then you can create more headroom for upside. You don't need to roll it up, but chances are you have to pay a big debit for the rolling. Meaning you add additional capital to the trade. If you're not comfortable with that, just close the trade. The trade won't lose money. I mean, normally it will break even or maybe lose a little bit. So in that stall situation, you just close the trade if you're not willing to roll the trade up and pay a big dividend debit for it. Number 6 from KHKH: for the meta trade, what happened if you did not close the trade? So you say after the announcement, what need to be done in that situation? So I think you mean is, what if I have held on to the trade and the stock price collapsed after the earnings, right? What happens? Well, chances are the profitable trade then would have turned into a loss. And then if the loss hits my stop loss, I will cut loss. I just close the trade, right? So that's the way I manage the trade. If it hits my stop loss, so be it. SC Lim, number 7, SC Lim: does bank always close position before earnings? How long before earnings should one close option position? Normally for C2D, it's up to you. If you already generated a good profit before earnings, yeah, I tend to close it before earnings because I want to lock in a good profit, right? But if the trade's not going anywhere and I think the stock price is still within the profit zone after the earnings, I don't mind holding the trade. I don't mind. Number 8, Michael asked question: on the meta trade, what would have happened if you were caught when the price dropped to 678? The same questions as KH. So if it dropped to 678, then the trade would have turned into a loss. And if the loss hits my stop loss, I exit the trade. Number 9, the last one I have here in my Google document here. Henry Koo asked question: throughout the year, do you occasionally withdraw from deposit into your account? Yes. So last year I showed you at the beginning, right? My profit last year was $1.2 million, and I withdrew $1.2 million last year. So because I needed the money to buy something, buy property. So I do have a video on the curriculum. So as you sign up, you'll see the video inside the curriculum where I show you how to withdraw cash from IDK account. And in that video, I demonstrated withdrawing $1.2 million. Yeah. So I did. But then during the year, I got extra income, extra profit. Then I pump it back into my trading. But yes, whenever I need money, I withdraw some money out of my trading account. Yeah, I do. So let me check anything else. I think that's all I have here for the Q&A that is sent to me. All right, everyone, I've been trying to address all the questions that you sent to me. I cover as much as possible on the trading questions, technical, everything, as much as I could. At this point, I'm going to bring someone who's much closer to the student journey and all the operational details behind the whole program that I'm talking about here. So let me invite Nasri, who's in charge of customer service at Prima Profits, right? He will take over to address a lot more details on the admin questions like the access, the onboarding, the session reminders, the community channels, and all the different enrollments package, whatever available there. So he will be the best person here to walk you through all the details. That's it. I am over now to Nasri. Please take over.
All right. Thanks, everyone. And also thanks, Bang, for the introduction. I think Bang has just wrapped up his session, and I know the story he shared at the end was a heavy one. So we're really glad he and his family are safe, and I appreciate all the supporting message that actually comes in. At the same time, I'm also seeing a few questions, enrollment-related questions flowing in. Things like what's included in the mentorship, how to access the platform, pricing, renewals, and what happens after you sign up. So before we close the segment, let me take a few minutes to walk through the admin questions and address it right now. Yeah. Okay, let me share my screen first. Yeah. Okay. So the first question comes in from Kate. What's the difference between Options with Friday Mentorship and the Ultimate Options Bundle? Okay, let me bring you through the process when you enroll the Options with Friday Mentorship first. Okay, so when you enroll in the Options with Friday Mentorship, firstly, you'll get lifetime access to our Options Level 1 and Level 2 courses, the Iron Shell and Iron Striker. So these are your core foundation. Across both levels, you'll learn the full range of strategies, all 26 of them that Bang and Adam mentioned previously, and the access is for a lifetime. So once you take action and purchase the mentorship today, you can revisit them anytime you need a refresher. And then secondly, for Wave Rider, it will also comes in with the 1-year guided support. So for a full year, we run live online workshops every month. So in these sessions, we revise the skills, show how to apply the strategies, and go through real case studies based on actual market conditions. You also get Bang's latest market updates through his monthly e-gathering that he mentioned previously. And in this live session, you can actually ask questions. If you have any questions, burning questions that you'd like to ask, feel free to ask in the live questions, that we have our moderators as well as the mentors to assist you. And for those who are totally new, there's also an onboarding workshop to help you to get started properly. And on top of that, for the Wave Rider membership, you'll also have access to our community chat for 1 year, where you can discuss trades, clear doubts, and get support in real time. Everything I just described previously, it's the Wave Rider mentorship, it's lifetime learning of strategies, plus 1 full year of guidance and community support. And if you enjoy the full year of the guidance and community support that Options Wave Rider gives you, you can renew the mentorship for the subsequent years. Your renewal will be USD 899 per year. That's about 70% off your retail price. So like I mentioned, you get lifetime access to the Options Iron Striker, and 1 year access to all the live mentorship that is stated in the screen here. Onboarding workshops for beginners, monthly strategy deep dive, monthly e-gatherings, plus live trade hunt with Bang, access to the Options Traders discussion group, and also the quarterly trading psychology class with Adam Koo. All the 1 year access, and then if you are interested to actually extend it, you can extend it at the exclusive renewal price. And of course, for today, there's actually a limited time offer also, and also there's actually a bonus that's provided to you if you purchase Options Wave Rider today. So there's, instead of 12 months, you get total 14 months of the online mentorship. And currently it's going at 50% off, and now it's only 1498. So if you guys are interested to purchase the Options Wave Rider mentorship, please take action right now. Scan the QR code, and you can also click on the link in the chat. Yeah. Now let's move on to the Ultimate Options Bundle. So the bundle includes everything I just mentioned for Wave Rider, but it also adds one powerful component, which is the Options Tactics Playbook, also known as OTP. OTP is a 1 year subscription that gives you access to Bang's trade actions. This is not a teaching program. Instead, you get to see the actual strategies he uses, the setups he's watching, and how he executes the trades in his own account. You also have access to the OTP community, which is separate from the Wave Rider, where you can receive a real-time trade notification whenever Bang enters, exit, or adjusts a trade, and also have access to the dedicated OTP discussion channel for Q&A and trade discussions. So for OTP, every month there's also a dedicated live monthly webinar where Bang reviews the trade he has taken, gives an update on his current portfolio, and shares what he's preparing for the upcoming month. So the monthly webinar is actually different from what I've actually mentioned previously in the Options Wave Rider mentorship. Okay. So I think this is why I think the bundle is actually very valuable for those who want both the education and also the practical insights at the same time. And again, if you enjoy the playbook, you can also renew it at the following year as well. Renewal will be at USD 1,500 for the Options Tactics Playbook, and that's about 40% off. Currently, as you can see right now on my screen, the Ultimate Options Bundle, which includes the Options Wave Rider mentorship plus the 1 year access to OTP, it's going at 45% off. And on top of that, there's a bonus. There's actually 2 months access, additional access for the Options Wave Rider mentorship, which is altogether 14 months, and another 2 more months for the OTP. So basically, it adds up to 14 months as well in the Options Tactics Playbook. Yep. So that's the best value right there. Again, if you want to take action right now, please scan the QR code. Currently, it's going at 45% off. So do take action as soon as possible before the post promotion closes. And let me reiterate for the Options Tactics Playbook also. The access will start at 1st January 2026. Okay. So please take note. Due to the fact that we want you to actually study the course curriculum, the course videos, the course videos in the Options Wave Rider mentorship before you actually get started to actually follow the Bang's trade. Okay. Let me go to the next question. So which one should I choose from Karim? Okay, so if you're fairly new to options and you prefer to learn by step at a comfortable pace, then start with Options Wave Rider mentorship first. Build your foundation first, get the skills right, and once you're confident, you can always take up the Options Tactics Playbook the year after. Okay, if you already have some experience in options and you want both the strategies and also Bang trade ideas immediately, then the Ultimate Options Bundle will give you everything in one package. Okay, that's the main difference between the two. So technically the choice is up to you. We'll give you the choices between the Options Wave Rider mentorship and the Ultimate Options Bundle. But again, while we have choices as well, we do not have any choice if you guys actually came late to actually purchase the course, because right now the limited time offer is available only for a few for this window. So if you guys come in after that window, it's difficult for us to extend the value and also the bonuses right now that's been offered to you. Okay. Question from May. Will I get reminders for all the live webinars? Worried that I missed out? Yes, definitely. You receive reminders for every live session, be it the live session, the online mentorship for the Options Wave Rider mentorship, or the monthly session that Bang conducted for his OTP subscribers. So all the live session for Pirate Profits, if there's any live session, will actually notify you via Discord and also email. Okay, so do look up for that. In any case whereby you can't make it, or there's any emergency situation where you're unable to actually make it, not to worry. All this live session is recorded. So once the replay is uploaded, again we'll announce it on Discord, so you can watch it anytime inside the respective portals/platforms. Yeah. Question from Dominic. If I'm an existing Wave Rider member, can I subscribe to Options Tactics Playbook? For existing Wave Rider members who wish to subscribe to OTP, you'll have an exclusive offer just for you. I think by now my colleague would have dropped the link in the Zoom chat, so please take a look. If I join now, how fast can I access everything? Access is instant. So once your payment goes through, okay, so access is instant for both the Options Wave Rider and mentorship and also the Ultimate Options Bundle. Okay, let me tell you for those who actually purchase the Options Wave Rider first. Once you purchase the Options Wave Rider mentorship, you'll receive an onboarding email from us. Okay, in that email, just click on the onboarding link and you'll be redirected on the steps to how you can actually watch the videos, how you can actually access the portal, how you can actually join the Discord community. For the Ultimate Options Bundle as well, we will receive an email from us with the onboarding link. So click on the onboarding link. It will redirect you to a page whereby all the information is there on how you can access the Options Wave Rider, how to join in the Discord community. But please take note, for those who purchase the Ultimate Options Bundle, the OTP access will start on 1st January 2026 for the Discord access and also for the portal access. So take a look, take note of that. Yeah. Let me see if there's anything. Let me show you a screen. Let me change that for a while. Okay, so let me share with you the upcoming live mentorship session for those who actually make purchase for the Ultimate Options Bundle and also the Wave Rider mentorship. So here's the upcoming live mentorship session that I put inside one slide. Not to worry. This session will be, the schedule will be shown to you inside your portal. There's actually a curriculum whereby you can actually see all the schedule that has been laid out to you for the 2025 and also 2026. The next one will be tomorrow. For those who actually purchase the Ultimate Options Bundle or the Wave Rider mentorship, you'll be able to actually attend the monthly gathering by Bang tomorrow actually. But I understand it might be too overwhelming for you again because you guys are fairly new to options. You have not read and also studied the whole course curriculum. But not to worry, please feel free to attend. See what's the vibe all about. Take a look at how Bang conducts his lesson, how our fellow students interact with one another, how our mentors actually help the students who have questions. Feel free to ask questions if you have any. And not to worry, it may be too overwhelming for you, but keep it again, like what Adam mentioned. I think options, it's about understanding the whole strategy first. After that, take your time to actually study, learn the course curriculum. And once you're ready, you have I think on the 1st of December there's already a staple strategy deep dive webinar where you can also attend. And basically it's a strategy that is being taught in options level 1. So we will reiterate on the strategy that's been used. And also the next onboarding workshop, I think this is very, very important and also very vital for all the newly subscribed options traders who's also new to options. You can attend the onboarding workshop on the 5th of January 2026, whereby we go through the brokers platform, all execution and tools. Okay. But don't wait until 5th of January to actually start. If you feel free, if you get access to the Wave Friday today, you can actually view all our recordings, our past onboarding, our past live skills revision webinar. All of it is recorded and uploaded in the portal. So feel free to take a look. And if you want to start soon, please feel free to start soon. And get used to the jargons and what are the strategies now being shared. Okay, let me shift my slides. Is there any more questions coming in? Let me see. Okay, so there's also a few students who actually asked, they are the legacy option students that purchased the mastery package previously. If they can get Wave Friday and OTP. So for those legacy students of ours, if you have any questions on is there any special promotions for you and all that, please do type in the chat or send an email to us at support@piranhaprofits.com. We're going to be assisting you with that, your answer, okay? And also not to worry, the details will be sent out to the email to them, okay? Let's see, any more questions? Will this help me if I'm still new to options? From Abdul. Yes, the mentorship is built to support both beginners and experienced traders. If you're newer to options, the structure makes it very straightforward to actually follow. Like I mentioned just now, and also I think Adam and Bang has mentioned countless of time, saying that this is not just a course whereby you study, it's a whole mentorship whereby it's built to actually assist students who just get started, and also for those advanced students as well. Okay. How much to know after 1 year? Is there a bonus if I join today from Jason? Yes, again, the bonus, basically for those who actually purchase the options Wave Friday mentorship, okay, you'll get 2 additional months. So altogether there's 14 months access of the mentorship, okay, for the, online mentorship, okay. But for the Iron Shell and Iron Striker course, it will be a lifetime for you for the 2025, yeah. For those who purchase the Ultimate Options bundle, you'll get 2 months access, additional access for the Wave Friday, of course, and also plus 2 more months for the OTP as well. So 14 months for OTP, 14 months for options Wave Friday. Okay, Elena, quite basically asked, for someone who don't have any experience on option, which package should I opt for? Again, as I mentioned, for those who want to start out, you can opt for the Options Wave Friday mentorship, get used to the strategy, attend the onboarding session, attend the live skills revision. Feel free to watch the replays as well. Once you grasp the whole, basically once you have the grasp of the strategy and understand how the strategy works in different markets, you can actually again renew it if you love it. And also, if you wish to actually subscribe OTP at a later date, please feel free to do so. But as a one starting out, I would suggest you to actually sign the Options Wave Friday mentorship. Okay. For Ultimate Options Bundle, after 14 months, what is the renewal fee? Okay, for the renewal fee for the Ultimate Options Bundle, again, because it comprises of the Options Wave Friday mentorship and also the OTP. So there's 2 separate renewal, okay? For the Options Wave Friday mentorship, the renewal will be USD 899, okay? And for the Options Tactics Playbook will be USD 1,500, okay? What if I can't attend the OTP live monthly premium? Again, I've answered that actually. It will be recorded, not to worry. For all our live session, it will be recorded and uploaded to the portal. Also, if you actually purchase the Options Wave Friday now or the Ultimate Options Wave Friday now, Ultimate Options Bundle now, you can actually have access to the Options Wave Friday portal where all our past live webinars is being uploaded. So instead of waiting for when is the next session, feel free to just see the onboarding session that's been conducted previously. Yeah? Can I renew only the 1,500 and not the 899? So if you decide to renew the Options Tactics Playbook, but you're not, but would like not to subscribe to the, renew to the Options Wave Friday, yeah, feel free to do so. The thing is that if you enjoy both, of course, feel free to renew. But if you like to actually only subscribe to OTP, you can subscribe it at, renew it at 1,500. Yeah, there's no obligation for you to renew for both. Yeah. Thanks, email send, purchase. Thank you, Avinash. The Options Wave Friday mentorship I signed in August. Was it lifetime access? Yes. For those who purchased previously, yes, you have lifetime access to your options, Iron Shell and Iron Striker as well. What about today's live session that people in US could not attend? Is there a replay? Yes, again, the replay will be recorded. The replay recorded and also will be ready. Once it's made ready, we're going to actually email everyone for those who actually registered regarding about the replay. So please look out for it, and it will be for a limited time only. So if you like to actually take advantage of the offer that's going on and also the bonuses, please do so as soon as possible. Okay, before everything is over. If I subscribe to the mentorship now, can I upgrade to the bundle before 1 Jan 2026 with the promo? Yes, for those who actually subscribe with Friday previously during this promotional period, if you wish to change it to the top up to the Ultimate Options Bundle, feel free to do so and email at support@piranhaprofits.com. This is only applicable for those who actually made purchase during this BFCM period. Existing Wave Friday member, if I add on OTP, can OTP for this? Okay, for those Wave Friday members who actually would like to purchase OTP, my colleague would have sent the link in the chat below. That was just Wave Friday. Any more questions coming? Feel free to ask inside the chat. If I'm completely new to options, does it make sense for me to buy the bundle? It absolutely makes perfect sense actually to purchase the bundle. Because why? It includes the Options Wave Friday mentorship. Okay, like I mentioned, you will have 1 year access to our online mentorship. On top of that, you will have the you can have the OTP as well, where you can actually see enter to Bang's mind and see how he actually does his trade. You'll get notification on his trade, attend his monthly sharing as well. So I think it makes perfect sense to actually purchase the Ultimate Options bundle as well. But of course, if you the choice is up to you. We have laid out the choices, both with great value and also with great discount. So yeah, as long as you actually make actions now, I think that makes I think that's the important thing. Any more questions? Sorry, I didn't hear what you say from Jen. I just paid for the course, but traveling tomorrow, so can I start in December when I'm back? Hold on. So you purchase. Oh, you're unable to actually attend the session tomorrow. Not to worry again, like I mentioned, for those who are not able to actually attend the session tomorrow, not to worry, it will be recorded. So for those who actually make purchase and unable to actually attend the e-gathering that's happening tomorrow by Bang, not to worry, the session is recorded. So you can actually take a look at it at a later date. Recorded for how long? My first one. Okay, since we're waiting for more questions to come in, I'll just show you this screen whereby for those who actually make the purchase for the ultimate options bundle, you would actually receive this email on your end. Okay, so this is an onboarding email whereby this starts everything for in your journey. So in this email, we'll actually tell you again what is included, like I mentioned previously, the Options with Friday plus the OTP, and we'll also state that the OTP access will be given on 1st January 2026. And again, reiterate the bonus that you receive. You'll be entitled to free 2 months subscription to the Options with Friday and also 2 months for the OTP. So we'll make both your Options with Friday mentorship and OTP to 14 months. Okay, and then you can actually click on the onboarding guide. This is the first step. Click on the onboarding guide. Let me scroll up again. Again, just a PSA for everyone who actually made purchase. Congratulations on making the first move. But firstly, please take note that once you actually join our Discord channel, you would actually be added as friends or people DMing you saying that they're Adam, they're Bang, they're Elson, or they're part of the office team. Please do not reply to those messages. Please do not accept their friend requests. They are all scammers. The team in Prep Office and also our mentors won't privately. So this is just a PSA for you guys to take note of. Again, please take note and read all the instructions in the onboarding page and you won't get lost. Firstly, the Options Wave Rider will tell you on how you actually can get access to the Wave Rider. And on 1st of January, you'll receive a support from support at Prep Office on how you can actually access the playbook. So just take a look at that. Also instructions on how you can access the portal, the OTP that starts on the 1st January 2026. There's also a video guide as well. And most importantly, there's actually an instruction on how you can actually join a private community. I understand some of you may be our existing student or subscriber. So there's actually 3 buttons where you can actually click on. Of course, if you're an existing student, just click on this. That will ready to step on if you're an existing student. However, if you're a new student, here's the step for you to follow. Just follow the steps here and you'll be in the Discord community in no time. Yeah. I think same goes for those who actually make purchase for the Options Wave Rider. You'll receive the onboarding email. Again, reiterate the bonus that is happening today. Free 2 months. 14 months in total. And again, the Options Wave Rider onboarding guide. You'll be lead to this page here. Text this. Again, our PSA. For new subscribers, just follow the steps. Existing students, just follow the steps. Yeah. Let me show you the Discord community. Okay, so for Wave Rider students, for Ultimate Options Bundle, and also for those who purchase the Options Wave Rider, once you're in the Discord and you have followed the steps on the onboarding page, you will have access to this options trading channel. Okay, options trading channel. So what all you need to do is first, of course, read the guidelines here. Once you read the guidelines, just agree with the community guidelines, and all the other channels will be unlocked for you. Okay, you may view the channels. However, you will only be able to start chatting 7 days after your purchase. This is to ensure that you are used to the jargons, what is being discussed before joining in the chat. Yeah, and then this is the directory where you can actually see what are the channels that is being provided to you. Sorry, membership directory here. Then as you can see here, there's actually a membership announcement, the Wave Rider chat, whereby all the chats are all here. It's very active as you can see here. Yep. And we also have a brokers channel whereby if you have discussion on certain countries, which brokers to use and all that is in this channel as well. Okay. So for those who purchase the Ultimate Options Bundle and also the Wave Rider, you should be able to actually get this. And for those who purchase the Ultimate Options Bundle, once you make purchase, you'll have this immediately. But on the 1st of Jan, you'll need to converse again with our portfolio steps again. We'll send you a separate email on how to get access to the Options Tactics Playbook on the 1st of January 2026. Okay. And you can see here all the trade notifications. You can see it's very active. Yep. Okay. Let me switch to this side and see if there's any more questions coming in. If I buy Wave Friday, do I get 14 months from? So yes, so you'll get 14 months. So you'll get 12 plus the additional 2 more months. Yeah, it's only valid for the campaign that we're actually having right now, which is the black market. So please take action fast before all the bonuses is gone. If I then upgrade to OTP, do I still get a loan bonus? If you decide, okay, if you're at Options Wave Friday, you subscribe to Options Wave Friday during this window, during this black market window, and wish to upgrade to Ultimate Options Bundle, yes, feel free to do so. But please take note that this is only valid during this window. So, and yes, if you actually top up and purchase during this window, you'll get the same bonus, which is 2 months, 2 additional months for OTP and 2 additional months for Wave Friday. Alright. Yep. And let me see any questions coming. The OTP in this one. The OTP Discord will only be available in January 2026, which means I totally don't see it at Discord here, right? Yes, no, exactly, you're right. So, like I mentioned to you, the access will be given on the 1st of January 2026. For those who actually purchase the Ultimate Options Bundle now, you will have access to the Discord for the Options Wave Friday only. But on the 1st of January 2026, you'll have access to the OTP portal, okay, and also the Discord. Let me just say, okay, yeah. Yeah. Any more? Hi, I'm existing Wave Friday and OTP member. Not to renew the Wave Friday. Hi, I'm existing Wave Friday and OTP member. I've decided, if I decided not to renew the Wave Friday, does this mean I will lose access to Wave Friday channels and not be able to attend Bounce Wave Fridays? Yes, correct. For those who actually purchased the Wave Rider previously and would not want to actually renew the Wave Rider online mentorship, right? You'll still have access to the Options iShell and Ice Tracker courses. However, you won't be able to actually access the community and attend the live online mentorship session. Okay. So that's the benefit of actually renewing your subscription. You have access to the online mentorship. Every month, they would at least have 2 live webinars that you can attend to actually. But I will still have OTP access. If you decide to renew for the 2nd year, yes, you'll have OTP access. Can you send me the link to enroll the OTP with the bonus from Felix? Yeah, my colleague will assist you on that, Felix. See, any more questions coming in? Okay, I think I'll be going off in a few minutes time. If you have any last minute question, please do send it now while I'm here. So again, right now for the options Wave Rider, it's going at 50% off. So it's only now at 1498. Retail price is 2997. So imagine the discount there. And on top of that, you'll have the bonuses, which is the 2 additional months to make it 14 months in total for your Wave Rider mentorship. So please do take action now before it's too late. I don't want to be the bad guy to reject you when you actually attempt to actually purchase it after the promotion period, because the promotion and also the bonus months won't be provided to you. And currently for the ultimate options bundle, for those who actually want to make purchase, you can actually enroll it at 45% off right now. Again, retail price is 5497 and now only 2997. So please do take action now. Scan the QR code, take action now. I can also see there's still a lot of you here in the room. Let me know if you have any more questions. We'll stick around for another few more minutes actually. How long will the recording of the live sessions in the options be valid? Okay, so to make this clear, we would actually be removing the past 6 months of worth of recording due to the fact that the reason it's going to be for all the sharing it's very time sensitive. Okay, so it will be there, but once it gets too many, we're actually going to remove it, and we'll maintain the latest one. Dave, we have questions, but I didn't receive any questions. Dave, please ask the question. If I missed it, my colleagues will actually assist me on it as well. Okay, thank you for your reply. No problem, Jessica. Yep. This promo will run through the whole black market event. Yes, the black market event is only for a limited time only again. Let me reiterate. So please do take action now. My team and I wouldn't want to be the bad person to actually reject you if you would like to extend it after the promotional period. So please take action now. Okay, let me show you the screen. Okay, so I received a question basically asking if I'm a current existing Wave Rider member, how can I see my subscription period? Again, on the onboarding page, you can see there's a step on how you can actually see the subscription expiration date of your account. So all you need to do is just interact with our bot. All the instructions is there, and then it will reply you on your current active membership and when it will expire. Okay. Let me see the Q&A tab. Give me one. The Wave Rider mentorship of 14 months will start January 26. No, Francis, if you sign up for the Wave Rider mentorship, the access will be provided to you immediate. Okay. For those who sign up for the ultimate options bundle, the Wave Rider mentorship will also be immediate, but the OTP access will start on 1st Jan 2026. Okay. I'm a current Wave Rider member. How do I know when I'm current? Yeah, I believe I already explained to you just now. Yeah. You can also email us at our support@groundoffice.com or WhatsApp us, and our team will be able to assist you in that as well. Yep. If I cancel on the second year and want to subscribe again on the third year, will it be charged 1498 or 899? Okay, so the exclusive renewal offer is only valid for existing subscribers. If you want to renew, if you're an existing subscriber, then you'll get the 899. However, if you decide to cancel it and then the prevailing year, you like to actually subscribe again, it will be at the prevailing price, not at the renewal rate. If I purchase both PAM and Ultimate Options bundle, can I get a special discount? Currently, Terry, the discount right now for the black market, honestly, I'll just tell you guys a secret. It's the best offer all year round. So please do take advantage of it. Right now, it's already at the lowest. So yeah, do take advantage of it. Are the previous live monthly webinars with Bunk accessible for new subscribers to the OTP? Yes. Like I mentioned, all of his session even for OTP is recorded. So you can actually purchase it. Once you actually purchase it, subscribe to the OTP as well. You can actually see the past recording. Yeah, everything is recorded. See. Good day. If I purchase options with Friday mentorship today, when is the last day I can upgrade to UOB for the same price? Okay, I could not tell you the answer in terms of the date, but like I mentioned, it's only for limited time only. So if you wish to upgrade now, do it now. Honestly, do it now. If you wish to upgrade, do it now. Email the team at support@groundoffice, WhatsApp us, tell us that I purchased options with Friday during this black market, and I would like to actually enroll it now. So please do it now. Yeah. Yeah, I know, but what is the renewal rate for OTP for the second year? It's USD 1,500. Yep. USD 1,500 for second year OTP. That's an exclusive discount for renewal rate. Just to check if I purchase OTP, there will be lesson note for. So yes, there will be a starter guide also on how you can actually get started with OTP. Yep, in the portal. How do I join PAM Discord channel? Chris, are you our student? I mean, if you have actually purchased the PAM Mastery course or the Ultimate PAM bundle, by now you will receive a onboarding email. In that onboarding email, you will redirect you to the onboarding page whereby there's step-by-step guidance on how you can actually join the Discord channel. It's only exclusive for the students of PAM. So please take a look in your email, and if you have any issues, email us at support@groundoffice.com or WhatsApp us. We're going to assist you with that. So yeah. Yeah. There's quite a number of you still asking when is the bonus and all that. What I would suggest you is that instead of asking when, do take action now, because honestly, it will be for limited time only. That's all I can say. It's for limited time only, so do take action now. The value of what you receive today in terms of the price and also the bonus, you won't get it anytime again next year. Okay. Can I attend tomorrow's gathering to see how it's like before joining? Unfortunately, no. You will have to actually purchase the Wave Rider or the Ultimate Options bundle before you get invited to the exclusive link to join the Zoom session that is Bang is doing tomorrow for his e-gathering. Shannon, if I decide to enroll for the OTP after enrolling to the Options with Friday mentorship, will I still be entitled to the same price and 2 months free subscription? Yeah, Shannon, if you purchase the Options with Friday mentorship during this black market promotion, okay, and wish to upgrade it to the Ultimate Options bundle, please do so ASAP. Email us at support@groundoffice.com. Because once this promotion is over, we are unable to actually accede to your request for the additional months. Yeah. I think that's about. If I purchase OTP, can I join tomorrow's gathering? No, tomorrow's gathering for the e-gathering is for the Options with Friday members. If you're an Options with Friday members by now, you would already receive the invite. Yep. If you purchase in the past, if you're current existing Options with Friday, you will already receive the invite. Again, for tomorrow's e-gathering, it's only for the Options with Friday members. Yeah. It seems like there's quite a number of you have taken action and purchased the bundle. Yep. That's great. That's great. Please do take action. I think that's about all. Check if there's anything. Okay, I think that wraps up the key admin questions coming in from Bang's session. If you're keen to join us, now, again, I reiterate, it's really the best time to get the offer before it ends. The black market deal is a limited time opportunity and it won't be available for long. Okay? So every year after our major events, I would like to tell you a story as well. We receive countless emails asking if we can extend the promotion. And as much as we'd love to actually say yes, we really can't. So don't let this slip by. The value you're getting today is exceptional, and most importantly, the opportunity cost of delaying your learning is far, far higher. So the sooner you start your mastering the strategies, the sooner you can enter the markets with clarity and confidence. So if you're ready to begin, just scan the QR code. The QR code will be remaining there till we close the room. So scan the QR code, click on the link to actually make purchase. Okay? With that, we've come to the end of Black Market Day 2. Thank you for spending the day with us and bringing such great energy across all the session. But before you get off, a quick reminder, Black Market Day 3 continues on Tuesday, 25th November at 9:30 p.m. Singapore time, featuring our special guest, Elson, whereby he'll be doing a live trade hunt to spot and profit from market manipulation traps. So in this session, you'll be watching a former prop trader, Elson, with over USD 8 million in trading profits, execute his force right bar strategy in real time as he hunts for potential multi-bagger rallies. So mark your calendars, set your reminders, and we'll see you back here on 25th November at 9:30 p.m. Singapore time. Okay, so again, do take action now before it's all gone. So enjoy the rest of your evening, and we'll see you on day 3. Thank you.